Ayo. What's up, everybody? Review's looking good. Stream's looking good. The new YouTube integration with OBS is looking good. It actually gives me like a little live control panel for YouTube streaming. It's sick. What's up, everybody? Bang Clan was here. So was Vito. David, Haya. Random Lemon. Van Clam. This guy's videos are neat. Thanks, brother. Snowball. Shinobi. Hatchet. What's up, boy? Haya's back. What's up, David? Aeon Anima. How's it going? Great camera. Thank you so much. Oh, shit. I've got the subscriber... I've got the subscriber alerts on. I'm probably going to have to turn those off. Because I'll be real. That's probably going to be happening a lot if I leave them on. So if you're subscribing today, just know that I appreciate you. Literally just saw your creator video and it ended right as this was starting. That was the idea. That was the idea. I noticed that the video was starting to really pick up this past couple days. And by really pick up, I mean like growing exponentially over the last 72 hours or so. And so I was like, I need to probably, it'd be a good idea to probably do like a little live stream and welcome in some people, because people are literally subscribing like as fast as they can. So, wanted to, capitalize on that to a certain extent. Say hi to you guys. You work for Dr. K. Holy shit. That's awesome. Shinobi HG. HG stands for Healthy Gamer, huh? That's awesome, dude. That's really cool. Dr. K is one of those people who I was like, man, I'd really love to edit for him one day. So maybe one day we'll work together. That's pretty cool, brother. That's really sick. I've seen a lot of your work then, Shinobi. That's pretty cool. I love YouTube. I love YouTube as a method of like just connecting with really fucking cool people that like I just like this new video. I mentioned there's two creators I mentioned. One was Rousing Kurtz, I think how you pronounce it, and the other was Mika Raygun, and both of them commented on the video. Matt Colville hasn't yet. But he's a busy guy as well, so no shame there. But both Mika Raygun and the other and Rosenkurtz both commented on the video and kind of left lengthy responses as to what they thought about it, and I thought that was really freaking cool. I was very inspired by the video. Almost listened to it twice. I appreciate it, Chris. Appreciate it. I will indeed make more videos like that. Everything in my life is telling me to make more videos like that. Everybody I talk to, the YouTube analytics, YouTube is telling me to make more videos like that. So I will definitely be making more videos like that. So let's see. I appreciate the compliment on my camera as well, Shinobi. I got a decent camera and I got a decent lens for it, and I'm very proud of it. What really surprised me from the vid is that wasn't voiceover. Yeah, so the secret was, I thought about just recording my thoughts and even maybe just getting in front of the camera like this and just kind of like talking to the camera and sharing my thoughts. But, we talk about like art being an intentional decision, or really just a culmination of intentional decisions in a work. And so I really wanted to approach the video from a different kind of angle. I was like, I could just do a gaming video where maybe I've got like gameplay and I'm just, I read from the script and maybe I sync it to the gameplay or whatever. But I was like, that's not it either. I really want to evoke the feeling of, those conversations you might have had as a kid. I would have buddies come over and we would maybe play a single player game and we'd pass the controller back and forth. I know a buddy of mine, we'd play Sly Cooper We just tossed the controller back and forth because we'd play through we had played through Sly Cooper like hundreds of times at that point probably. And so we would just like talk about life and talk about school and stuff. And I really wanted to evoke that feeling of like just hanging out with one of your friends and talking about life while playing a game. And that allowed me to kind of use the game to illustrate, you know, to kind of organically bring up points. Even though I thought ahead to bring up those points, there were parts of the game that it timed up well, it synced up well for me to bring those up. And that intentional decision was really, it paid off, it seemed, because a lot of people are a lot of the comments, an overwhelming number of the comments on the video are actually complimenting how it's like, oh my God, when he reacted to what was happening in the game, it blew my mind because he was actually speaking while playing the game. So the fact that it got a lot of people's attention, and that it enhanced the overall like theme of the video as just an intentional decision I made, that's very validating. So I appreciate that a lot of people are noticing that. Let's see. I see jazzy instruments back there. Yeah, I play saxophone, play guitar. Try to keep it real. Saw your video was the only video I saw on YouTube that actually encouraged the viewer to make something they want, not for views or money, and that spoke to me a lot. I appreciate your vids. Thanks, Court. Thank you. And you can, I mean, so I probably went a little bit too hard in the video. I probably railed a little bit too hard against monetization looking back on it. I don't think like monetization is like inherently a bad thing. And I think I maybe gave people that impression. I think that there's a balance to strike, right? I think people should be rewarded for their work, you know? That's part of what I was talking about when it came to my ideas of meritocracy, right? And I think people should be rewarded for the value they bring to people, but and you know, monetizing creations and the monetization part of YouTube has enabled people to make more valuable content because they have the time and resources to invest in themselves, invest into it. And I think that that's overall a good thing. The problem is when it goes out of balance and when you start to focus on the monetization too much, and when the platform starts to focus on the monetization too much, that's when it gets kind of out of hand. And that's when it stops being kind of authentic and stops being about the creation itself and about the value you're delivering and more about how you can milk it for money. And so, I'm not totally against monetization and not totally against, you know, all that stuff. It's just, it's about striking the balance. And so, now that I'm starting to focus more on striking that balance, my mental health and my creative kind of drive for YouTube has exploded in just the past couple of weeks. Just really since I posted that video. So, and started writing that video. So, honestly, I got here somehow after looking for a way to soundproof a room so I could start doing VO stuff. It took me a really long time. My room's not soundproofed, but I made my own, or really my roommate helped me make our own sound panels that I use in my studio here. And it took us like, we started planning on doing it for like a year and a half. It took us like almost a year and a half after like we initially talked about doing it to finally go and do it. And, you know, sometimes you just need a little bit of time to finally get that drive to be like, all right, I'm gonna fucking do it. Do you think the loneliness epidemic is somewhat benefiting content that aren't focused on retention editing? Like the absence of retention style editing emits somewhat a genuine, authentic feel to it. I think so, Shinobi. I think that's, I definitely feel that way, you know, in my experience, in my like anecdotal experience, you know, my kind of, you know, loneliness, so to speak. I don't know that I would call it loneliness, but it's somewhere in that realm. My sort of like disconnect from people and disconnect from the thing that got me creating and like doing live streams in particular, has really started to, ever since I started to kind of get into the retention editing type of stuff myself, I felt that disconnect on my own end. And I've definitely felt that disconnect from creators who do that kind of really tight editing. And I think it kept, I know that for my videos that I posted that have kind of the really tight editing and are optimized for retention, I know that those videos have much lower engagement, and I just really didn't capture people in the same way that I did with this newest video. And so I'm really thinking that this authenticity and this connection. I mean, it's the same thing with live streams, right? Live streams really were kind of the response to the loneliness epidemic, and their explosion was kind of both from the live streamer perspective and from the audience perspective. The explosion of streaming, I think, was partially in part due to the loneliness epidemic that came with COVID, right? So I definitely think that there's a correlation, if not a direct causation, between the disconnect people are feeling from each other and from creators, and the now boost we're seeing in the more authenticity side of YouTube creation these days. Putting the U back in YouTube. I've been saying that with a few buddies lately, Anima. Let's see. Yeah, Haya says it well. I think ultimately the problem lies. They say. I think ultimately the problem lies in the fact that YouTube as a company's vested interest runs counter to those of its creators. Yeah, it's the monetization puts advertisers first, and then creators, and then the audience, or maybe even sometimes the audience and then creators. And so there are times when your goals are aligned with the platform, and there are times when your goals are not aligned with the platform. Yeah, retention editing, Anima, is kind of the Mr. Beast style. It's the style you actually will see kind of in my other videos outside of the one I posted. It's the style you'll see in my like challenge videos, especially the can you beat Sonic without spin dashing and stuff like that. Probably not, David, since I posted one, and since I posted announcements and went ahead and posted the link there, probably won't. But yeah, it's the idea that like you optimize your editing, you optimize how the video is structured for maximizing keeping people's eyes and keeping people engaged. And we put engaged in quotes because now we're realizing as editors and like as creators, we're starting to realize that what we consider engagement is not just how can we demand your attention. You know, I talk about in the video the feeling of not looking at editing as like a creative outlet, but as a method of getting people to keep their eyes on your video and not look over at the suggested because they're getting distracted because their attention's not being held. And the secret is there's ways to engage people that doesn't involve just throwing things at them and throwing things at their eyeballs constantly and constantly introducing novelty to get their eyes to stay focused. You can actually engage somebody through, engaging storytelling and something that they're actually interested in and something that they have a vested interest in, and they will give you their attention. So, and shorts are a good example, Shinobi. Shorts kind of require you to use the retention editing techniques. There's very few ways when your competition is so fierce in the shorts feed, it's very difficult to create something that's not got that really tight, really engaging. There's just not a great word other than engaging, stimulating, other than that really stimulating content. When you're, we really should call it stimulation style editing rather than retention style editing, because there's ways to engage and there's ways to get retention that don't involve the style of editing we're talking about. It's really stimulation based editing. Maybe that's what I'll start calling it. And I see some people mentioning Jordan Peterson in the chat. I definitely did not expect so many fucking comments about Jordan Peterson and Gary Vee, but JP especially, in the chat, or in the comments of the video, I should say. But I'm sorry that I kind of glossed over it in the video and did not give when I didn't realize it was going to be so inciting. So I apologize for that. I don't necessarily want to spend. I feel like if I start talking about Jordan Peterson, this will become a Jordan Peterson discussion. Yeah, transphobia. That's my beef. That's my beef with Jordan Peterson. Among some other things that I just don't have time to get into. There are some things there are just some very blatant problematic views that Jordan Peterson is now and has been promoting that I just don't have time to get into that just are not good. But for the record, I used to be really into Jordan Peterson. I found his kind of more advice and his psychological discussions and he posted some videos of his lectures. Those when they were first coming out really helped me through a tough time and really introduced me to some of the ideas that now Dr. K and my own growth have really started to make click. But yeah, as Haya said, Philosophy Tube and ContraPoints have done some great videos on the problems with Peterson's philosophy, and those are videos I'll defer to. They sum it up way better than I can. But anyways, I'm sure somebody else will come into the chat at some point during the stream and ask about Jordan Peterson, but that's kind of my take. Let's see. What else? Hi, new sub. Just watch your vid on becoming YouTube. Inspired me so much. Thanks. You're welcome, Neo. Too many shit guru creators trying to run the same schemes with different paint palettes. Feels strange now to find someone with genuine content like yours. Thanks, Chris. I part of me wanted to call out some of the problematic guru YouTubers, how to grow on YouTubers in the video. But that's just not the kind of creator I want to be. I don't want to. I said some shit. I said barely anything about Jordan Peterson and Gary Vee, and I started a lot of shit in the comments. So I don't necessarily want that to be the topic of most of my discussions. And everybody's got their own story and stuff like that, and everybody's got their own purpose to fill on this platform, and people are figuring it out. And I used to be one of those people. I used to kind of run essentially a how to grow on YouTube channel before I even knew what I was doing on YouTube. So I can't much blame them in all reality. And there are some genuine, I know, for example, one guy I'm really liking lately, and really engaging with lately, his name is Nate Black. He recently became an independent. He used to work with a bigger channel, kind of like Think Media and stuff like that. Called shit, I don't even remember, but he left that company and started his own channel. And I don't want to drama bait, but I don't think he left that company on good terms, because I think he just had some creative disagreements. But now he's really focused on like reading analytics and looking at analytics from a statistically relevant point of view and actually interpreting them in a useful way, rather than just engaging with them as a way to get validation and get invalidation for your ideas. So there are still some how to grow on YouTubers that I think are putting out good stuff, but yeah, there's a lot of grifters, and I appreciate that you recognized, the way that I'm railing against that, Chris. Let's see. What are your thoughts on experimenting with multiple kinds of videos all on one channel, like drastically different videos? Well, I don't know that the algorithm really loves it when you do that, Lemon. I'm noticing that the YouTube algorithm is really trying to get me to be a Sonic tuber. Like if I post stuff that doesn't have anything to do with Sonic, my videos don't really want to gain immediate traction. However, at the same time, there's evidence to suggest that even if your videos go out to your subscribers and your subscribers don't necessarily react to the video well, and so for example, if I put out a video and YouTube tries to recommend it to all the people who like my Sonic videos and those people don't necessarily engage with it, there's evidence to suggest that the algorithm doesn't totally give up on the video. It just will go to your subscribers and the people who watch the kinds of videos you put out before first. And if you put out something that's substantially different, it still will give it some kind of chance. It just has a harder time figuring it out. But from what I've seen, from the evidence I've seen, at worst, putting out a video that has nothing to do with your channel and what you do is no worse than posting a video on a completely blank channel that has no subscribers. It's no worse. You don't have any like inherent risks to it that I can tell. So, you know, on this channel, I've posted music videos, I've posted Sonic videos, I've posted non-Sonic gaming videos, I posted the video that everybody's talking about. All of them completely different, and all of them kind of performing independent of each other, if we're being real. And so, I think there's something to be said about, you know, creating. I'm gonna keep creating kind of. Oh, Channel Makers! I renew it. Somebody knew what channel. Yeah. Channel Makers was the one that Nate Black recently left. Holy shit, man! Having such a wide, like a wide variety of people in the chat, is something that's fresh to me, and people actually knowing what I'm talking about when I'm just throwing random stuff out there. Yo, Mika's here. What's up? I was just talking about you, brother. Well done on the newest Iron Man Let's Play, by the way. I'm literally keeping up with every episode. I want you to know. Let's see. What was I talking about? But yeah, I'm not seeing any. I'm seeing evidence to suggest that now more than ever is a good time to post variety content on YouTube. You guys are gonna see from me. I'm gonna keep posting what I feel like I want to post, and that's gonna be stuff from all kinds of different places. And some of you may like all of it, and most of you won't engage with all of it. But you know, I'm confident that if we as creators post things that we find cool and we enjoy, that it's going to find an audience that thinks it's cool and enjoys it. So, let's see. Ran into your video today right after Dr. K's stream on Dharma. That's great. What's up, John? I'm glad I inspired you. What's the next direction YouTubers should go now? I'm not sure I'm qualified to answer that question, but the direction I'm going that's working for me right now is going for authenticity and really taking the time to speak into the world that which I think needs to be said, and not just making videos that I think aren't necessarily like entertaining. For example, the stuff that I talked about in this video were things that were on my mind for a really long time, and I wasn't really able to wrap my head around. And something that Dr. K was talking about, and that my therapist kind of talked to me about, was that you know, when we write down our thoughts, it helps us to articulate them. And so I one day when I saw the video, I mentioned in the video, when I saw the video, you know, monetization will ruin YouTube or something like that, or monetization is ruining the internet. I literally sat down and took notes and just kind of wrote out my thoughts, and eventually that turned into the outline of what would become this new video. I'm having trouble scrolling in chat now, so I'm having trouble scrolling down. So let me see. Okay, there we go. I fixed it. I like this video wasn't only about YouTube. I appreciate that. I appreciate that you recognize that, Brady. It was something that it was bigger than YouTube. I was like, I can't just speak to YouTubers here. I feel like I really kind of want to speak to just about everybody, or really I want to speak to everybody who has some kind of creative calling. But my personal spin on it is toward YouTubers, since I am a YouTuber. So, let's see. The algorithm is irritating because it assumes channel equals topic. It can be unstructured. It can be, but it's the algorithm, for all of its flaws, is, I think, getting better every day, in some way or another, at pushing what people really want to engage with. Do you ever worry about running out of content? Referring to meaningful, passionate content, I mean. I definitely worry about that, Mika. Or Micah. It's Micah, right? It's not Mika. Ray gun, if you will. I do worry about that. It's something that runs my mind. I do have actually a Google Doc open pretty much always. That's just called video ideas for days or faux days. And anytime I get any idea for a video I might be remotely passionate about, I throw that into that document. And really when I'm like, don't know what video to do next, I refer to that document. But I'm definitely afraid of having maybe, running out of things to say and running out of ways to keep it fresh. But to be honest with you right now, I've got, I've been working on client work for a really long time. And I have been kind of in a place where I've not been able to creatively express myself really with my own creative thoughts for a really long time. And so I've got a lot of pent up kind of creative energy right now that I'm letting carry me. And I'm just kind of right now seeing where that's going to take me. So just so you guys know, I am going to create kind of a follow-up to the video that we're all here for, that we're all here because of, I should say. I am going to create some kind of follow-up video. A friend of mine reached out and he was like, yo, your video's doing numbers. He's like, when are you going to make the next one? I was like, I don't know that there is a next one. And we got to talking about it, and we decided that I've at least got to do something I got to play through Sonic 2, right? And set some kind of topic that I want to talk about to it. And I've decided what the Sonic 2 video is going to be. So that's definitely happening, and hopefully that's going to happen this week. The script is actually, I say script, it's more like notes, but it's also kind of a script. It's hard to read from a script when playing through the game actively, so that's part of what gives it the authenticity, but there is kind of a script going for the follow-up video. And it's going to be about talent and how I think talent really isn't a thing that you should worry about. So we're going to talk about how, talent doesn't exist, or some, insightful thing that I'm going to spin it with. So, let's see. Just found your channel yesterday. You and like 20,000 people, Ann Hundy. So, it was pretty amazing to see. I put out a tweet. It was like, on Friday, the video got 5,000 views. On Saturday, it got 10,000. And yesterday, it got 20,000. And I was like, oh my God. That's literally exponential growth. It's really popping off now. It's continuing. It's the first video I've ever made, or the first video I know of that I've been involved with, including client projects, where even like 2 weeks after posting, it's continued to gain traction and continue to grow. So pretty cool. Just saw your video and then this live stream appeared on my recommended. I'm glad to hear that, Hypergravity Wave. I'm glad to hear that. I really, that's part of why I'm streaming today, is I noticed that as the video is gaining a lot of traction, I'm like, this would be a good time to start kind of like doing something like this live stream and really connecting to you guys and continuing the conversation, because a lot of people are leaving great comments. And while I'm very much enjoying going through all the comments, I've been spending hours and hours reading comments and replying to them these past few days. And it just makes more sense. I'm like, why don't I just create a more personal, why don't I go do the thing that I love to do, which is live streaming, and really make an excuse to start connecting with those people one-to-one. So decided to do that today. Let's see. God, I can't keep up with chat. I think this is the first time I've ever, besides being rated on Twitch by big creators, I think this is the first time I've ever not been able to keep up with chat. So that is a huge privilege. Thank you guys. I'm sorry that I can't respond and read all your messages, but I'm trying my best. What about being a programmer did you not like? Chris asks. So I liked being a programmer, and I still like programming. So I sometimes will program my own tools for DaVinci Resolve, and I'm actually thinking about creating some products for you guys who are getting started with editing, or who are into video editing, creating some things for you guys, creating some plugins for you guys, and getting those out there. So I still enjoy programming to a certain extent, and I enjoyed programming in terms of game design. And really, I didn't even mind programming when it came to like working at a traditional programming job. The big thing was at the job I was at, it was really not the kind of programming I wanted to do. And I was really more of a I was doing a lot of busy work, and I was doing a lot of stuff that I really just wasn't getting a whole lot of fulfillment out of. And the work itself wasn't bringing me really any satisfaction, and that was burning me out of programming. And so it was just not sustainable for me. I still like programming, and I still actually get a lot of satisfaction out of flexing my programming skills when I do get the opportunity. Like when it comes to, I released, if you guys don't know, I actually released a Sonic Superstars related or like inspired Twitch and YouTube streaming overlay. I'm not using it right now, but it looks something like this. That's cool. That's the alerts, for example. And then like this is the talk screen. I don't know why my there we go. Yeah, so like this is the chat screen. Here's our BRB screen. I created this overlay for people on my website to enjoy. If you guys don't know, neontherocks.com, you guys can sign up to become members and all that cool stuff, and support the content. But I love program. Like I got to program those alerts. I got to use my programming to set up those alerts, and make custom animations through programming and stuff like that. I love stuff like that. It's crazy because the people it's the video people needed to hear, says Anima. Yeah, I think, a lot of people are like, man, the algorithm or God or somebody really blessed me because this is exactly what I needed to hear today. And so it's like perfect timing, right? And what that tells me is that actually I should have made the video a long time ago. You know what I mean? Like this should have been something that when people are like, man, this is exactly what I needed to hear today. It was like this came in your life too late, in my opinion. It's something that like, it's not just that you guys needed to hear it. It's something that I needed to say. And I say that with no pride and no ego, just something that I truly believe and genuinely believe. Congrats on Too Fast Chat. I appreciate it. Let's see. Even when chat was smaller, you still never kept up with chat. Fanjecture, you shut your goddamn mouth. Crazy, I skipped streaming this morning to break the long streak and wanted to play Iwi and just did it. Bro, I've got an Iwi as well. Shoutouts. Hold up. Gotta trip over shit to get to it, but shoutouts to the Iwi. I bought this shit. I paid like $800 for this Iwi or something like that. Something crazy. Back when I had a day job. And now I've used it, and I think I've used it in exactly one song since I bought it. And and I'm pretty sure I unlisted that song. In fact, I'm not pretty sure. I'm definitely sure I unlisted that song. So I really needed to use the Iwi again. I didn't even use it in the Code Zodiac soundtrack that I just finished recently. But when did you start doing YouTube full time, and when would you recommend someone going into YouTube full time? I would recommend going into YouTube full time. Well, honestly, I don't know that I would ever recommend going into YouTube full time. It really depends on what your goals are and what you really want to do, and like who you are and what your situation is. It's really not a question that can just be answered in a general sense. I think it really depends on the individual. I personally went full time probably too soon. I definitely, with hindsight, I would do things differently, but I also don't regret going full time the time that I did. I wouldn't go back and change anything, but if I had to do it again with the knowledge, I wouldn't have the ego to think that I did everything right my first time through, right? So I definitely would have made different decisions, but I don't necessarily regret the mistakes that I made. They were just learning experiences. But I would say, go full time when you have the risk tolerance to go full time, right? Go full time when you're certain that nothing else will suffice. Is when I did it. When I decided literally nothing else is going to make me happy right now, is going to fulfill me, really, to be more specific right now, that's when I went full time. Hey, I gotta get back to work, but I found you through that video, and so I figured I'd stop by to drop a like, comment, say hey. Thank you, Ryan. I don't know if I missed you or not, but thanks for stopping in. Thank you for hating the term content. It's just one of those words that we just throw around all the time that just doesn't mean anything anymore. Like, you say it so many times that it loses its meaning. Yeah, I mentioned this earlier, Michael, but I very intentionally did live commentary on the video rather than just record the gameplay, because I really intentionally wanted to evoke the feeling of kind of like sitting with a friend and talking about life while playing a video game. And a lot of people are commenting about how that in particular made the video more impactful for them. So I'm very happy that I made that decision. Even though it made the video much more challenging to make. Let's see. Carlos recommended. Yeah. You know the guy. Carlos is based. I guess if your income from YouTube is getting closer to your full-time job, that's a time. My income from YouTube has never even come close to the income I got from my day job. But part of it was that I lived very frugally on my day job, and I saved very aggressively, even though I was spending quite a bit of cash on getting this camera and getting kind of the equipment that I still now use several years later to make content. I invested a lot in kind of tech that was cutting edge at the time, so that I could stay ahead of kind of the game as far as like, having all the tech that I would need for a while to make videos, even as my income, reduced. But then I went full time by, I've taken on a lot of clients for editing. I've done a lot of kind of side jobs that are I would consider part-time to my full-time creating. Like I drive for like food delivery apps now. I do like DoorDash and Uber Eats, which really kind of gives me like, I don't know, like it really validates my idea that I'm Spider-Man. Like it really makes me, in my long-term LARP that is thinking I'm Spider-Man, it really validates the idea. It's really just there to supplement the income that I don't make from YouTube. And actually, it wasn't until I posted this most recent video that we're all here for, it really wasn't until I posted that I started, that I actually hit my threshold for ad revenue on YouTube for the first time. I actually hit the payout threshold for the first time. And since then, I've cleared it for next month already, just based on this one video, which is pretty cool to say. So I appreciate it. It's because of you guys. What's up, the girl with memes? Let's see. That's true. Yeah. Abby's an actor outside of philosophy tube. A lot of YouTubers have side gigs that they may or may not consider side gigs. Oftentimes people are doing something that lends itself well to creating content, and they create content around the thing that they do. Great example, Dr. K. Dr. K is what I would say he's now a content creator first in a way, based on what I understand about Healthy Gamer and it being kind of his focus now. But when he started, he was a psychiatrist first, and he started creating content around his understanding of psychiatry and neuroscience and psychology. And now I would say with Healthy Gamer, he's now a content creator first in a way. And Matt Colville, he was, I don't know that, dungeon mastering could be considered a career, or if he considered it his career, but he was a game designer first, we'll say. Then he took what he knew about game design and what he understood about game design, and applied it to tabletop, which was his favorite format to play games, and made a YouTube channel around it. Now creating content around tabletop RPGs is his job. For me, I wanted to create for the sake of creating, and so my goal is to just, you know, in a way be a YouTuber just for the sake of being a YouTuber. And then it's like, okay, well then do I create my content around being a YouTuber then? It's like, well, that's kind of difficult, you know, to really quantify, especially when I'm not yet the YouTuber, but you know, I'm figuring out what that means to me, and I'm figuring out what that looks like. And in particular, I'm really enjoying just creating stuff that I think is really cool, putting it out there. And sometimes people are like, man, I think this is really cool too. And other times people are like, eh. And that's okay. That's okay. Learning to detach from that is becoming really healthy for me. I do think my chat is my little live stream chat is definitely glitching out quite a bit. Yeah, I'm way behind in OBS, so I'm just gonna like switch over to the YouTube side of things, and maybe just can I just pop this out? Maybe just yeah. Here we go. I'm just gonna pop this out and just have it kind of overlay over my. Can I make it? Wouldn't be a stream without technical difficulties, right? Okay, here we go. Okay, let's see. Let me catch up now. What camera do I use? I use a Panasonic GH5 with a Panasonic. It's a Lumix 1.7, I believe 25 millimeter lens, maybe 20 millimeter. I think it's 25 millimeter. Something like that. Let me see. Being honest with oneself about nothing else will make me happy, and having to take risks because of that can be really uncomfortable and hard to face, but end up being life-changing. I agree, sad or not. I agree. I believe that's like the core of Dharma right there. Is it's like, man, this is gonna suck and it's gonna be hard, but there's really no alternative as to what to do. Like, it really is like Bilbo Baggins, you know, the call to adventure, right? It's like the hero's journey is the initial reaction, the initial gut reaction is always reject the adventure, right? It's be like, no. You're a wizard, Harry. You're a what? Like, you know, that's that kind of thing. I can't join the rebellion. I've got a moisture farm here, you know, that I've got to, and my aunt and uncle I've got to take care of. There's always that rejection as your gut reaction, but then it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go with Obi-Wan to Alderaan and become a Jedi, even if it's gonna really suck at first. In terms of the subject, I say it's overwhelming knowing where to start after being a viewer/lurker for so long. Appreciate the stream. Thank you, Zanima. As far as where to go after being a viewer, you know, it's all about like, what do you want to create? Like, what do you want to put out into the world? Your first few attempts are probably gonna not satisfy you, because we develop taste before we develop skill. And so you know your stuff sucks before you know how to fix it and know how to do better. But the important thing is that you keep going, and you keep at it, because you deserve to express yourself in the best way possible. So it's really just like, what do you want to create? And like, don't put too much stock into where you start, because where you start is most certainly not where you're going to end up. So like, just throw something out there and see how it makes you feel. How are you going to transition this massive influx of new viewers to your new content without losing their interest because now they're expecting a certain type of content? That's a great question, Void. So the philosophy I'm really trying to stick to is this idea that so I've talked about like not necessarily creating just for the audience, because that lacks creative fulfillment. But there's also something of like, I want you guys to like what I put out, right? And I want you guys to keep engaging with it, and I want to make content creation my career, right? So how do I strike that balance? I think a good kind of rule of thumb that I've heard thrown around is the idea of like one for them and one for me. So I'm probably going to think of ways that I can spin things in a way that's going to satisfy the new people, and also on occasion, whether it's every other video or every few videos or whatever, just throw out something random that I think is cool, that I like to make, whether it's a music video about songs, music that you guys may not necessarily like, or whatever it's going to be. But also, there's also an element of, putting your creative energy into something, but then also, at the end, tailoring it to the audience. And I think that's actually where the balance is at. Because I would say I would create something for the purpose of the audience, create something what I think audiences want, create a video that I think is going to do well in the algorithm, or I think is going to do well with people, or I think people will like this, and create it for that reason. And then I would sprinkle in creativity of my own and my own creative voice as like, I would sprinkle it in, and it would be the cherry on top. And that's the nature of the beast when it comes to client work, because I have to kind of fit their style, and I do have to satisfy them first and their audience. So that kind of just carried over from my philosophy from editing for clients. But when it came to creating my own work, I think I've realized that putting my creativity first and putting what I want to say first, but then going in and tweaking it a little bit and, picking a particular title and a particular thumbnail and tailoring it to you guys. Those little compromises that don't make me have to compromise my creative integrity. That's how you really strike the balance. And so for this new video, it's like, I could tailor this directly to YouTubers, but I'm like, I'm going to throw Sonic in the thumbnail because I know my audience likes Sonic, and I know that I'm able to use Sonic to connect to people in cool ways. So I'm learning to strike the balance. Let's see. I think learning to edit videos is a great idea, Anima. Learning to edit videos is one of the best things I ever decided to do. And it's easier than ever. It's easier than it's ever been to edit videos right now, because DaVinci Resolve is free and it's incredibly powerful. What creative content do you make aside from programming? So mostly YouTube videos, mostly video editing, really. But I'm also a musician. A few of the songs you guys have listened to on stream are songs that I've actually made. I'm playing songs from a game soundtrack that I recently worked on called Code Zodiac. So I do music on the side. I create all my own stream overlays. I've created this Sonic inspired stream overlay that you can purchase on my website, neontherocks.com, wink wink. Cool stuff like that. I would say I'm a video creator first, musician second, and then probably programmer third, if I had to say. Listen, I'm very behind on chat, so I do apologize, guys. But I will hopefully get to your chats here soon. Let's see. Do you have VODs of your various streams? Yes. So all of the streams I've done on YouTube are archived. You can watch them all. For example, the newest Spyro video, if you guys haven't seen it, I did like a little Spyro challenge video. I actually recorded the footage for that in May, last May, in live streams here on YouTube. So you guys can go watch that entire playthrough. But also, I've got quite a few streams archived on Twitch. I'm mostly a Twitch streamer when it comes to streaming, but it's looking like it's going to be easier for me to move kind of more towards YouTube. Yeah. Let's see. Miko, thanks for the $5. I don't know why David deleted your message, but I'm guessing you said something fucked up. So, thanks for your $5, I guess. Let's see. Should I focus on views or subscribers? Neither. You should focus on putting things out that you like to create. Because you can't focus on views. You can't. Like, how do you focus on views? You can log into your analytics on YouTube Studio, and you can watch the number go up and down. But what can you do other than that? Same for subscribers. I can watch the number go up, but what is that doing? Is that making people subscribe? No. I can ask you guys to subscribe. That's not going to make you guys subscribe. So do I focus on asking you guys to subscribe more often? Like, no. Do I focus on asking you guys to watch more often? Like, no. I just create stuff, and then like the viewers either come or they don't, and I've got to be okay with that. And you know, we've all got to be okay with that. All Neat wants to do is go to Toshi Station and pick up some power converters. And Jextra gets it. I appreciate your comment, Seraphix. You're welcome for making the video. Thank you guys all that are showing up to hang out and spread the love. I really appreciate it. I'm really glad that I did this today. It's been really cool to connect with you guys. Any problems you can solve in your life will help others. You can start there. MFO, that's well said. You know your stuff sucks before you know how to fix it. Iru, that's from another Matt Colville video, and it's actually going to be the theme of my next video. I'm going to kind of work off of that. The idea that we develop taste before we develop skill is something that doesn't click for a lot of. It's not very intuitive, and it's something that seems obvious in retrospect, but is something that I think we need to talk about more. And so we're going to talk about that in the next video. So, excuse me. My Rode video mic always has a persistent hum in my videos. I can't get rid of it in Fairlight without making my voice kind of clipped. Probably has to do with the cable. I would maybe if you're using a 3.5 millimeter cable, probably introduce a ground loop isolator. That will probably help. Other than that, not quite sure what you can do. Eliminate any electromagnetic interference. Make sure the cable doesn't run parallel with another, or is it perpendicular? I forget. Doesn't run alongside another cable. I think it's perpendicular. It doesn't run perpendicular to any other cables. Make sure it doesn't run. Your phone's not near it. Your monitor's not near it. Things like that. Let's see. I started uploading after watching your video. In the last week, I've gone from 40 to 600 subs. That's awesome, Crisp. You're very welcome. I hope you could maybe post a video in the future about video editors' mental health. Ooh, that's a good one, Shinobi. I'm gonna write that down. That's going in the document. That's going in the Video Ideas for Days document. For certain. Video editor mental health. I do one day. I was talking to my friend Sam the other day. Yo, thanks for stopping in, Micah. I appreciate you. You're a really cool guy. Thanks for taking your time out of your day to be here. I know you mentioned in your last video that you're a dad, and that you're balancing YouTube with your life with your wife and your kid. And I think that's super awesome, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Let's see. I talked with my friend Sam the other day about maybe making a course one day, because I do want to maybe create a course that's like video editing for people who want to video edit as kind of a profession, like video editing for YouTubers, or video editing for people who want to work for other YouTubers, and get clients and things like that, and talk about like what it takes to like manage clients, and working with problematic clients and clients that are causing you problems, and like things like that. And I was going to touch upon mental health in that. But I don't know when that will ever come. And I think maybe probably a public video, and a video talking about mental health for video editors is probably a good one. I think it's not talked about enough in the video editing space. So great idea, Shinobi. What do you recommend to learn? Just start binging videos? ? As far as what, Anima? As far as video editing goes, I would probably recommend downloading DaVinci Resolve, number one. And then I would recommend probably deciding what kind of videos you want to edit first, if you can, and then figuring out what it takes to edit those kind of videos. So if you want to do a lot of motion graphics and a lot of like visual effects, you're probably going to want to watch more tutorials on like getting started with visual effects and getting started using Fusion. Otherwise, honestly, just learning the basics and learning how to just make cuts and do stuff like that, and then just start editing videos, and you will find kind of your editing voice. There's little techniques and little tricks of the trade, like J cuts and L cuts, that stuff people in the industry use. And I was big on those for a while, and those were big, these last kind of few years. But I think that those things are kind of, I think that those things are just extra. They're just little cherries on top. I don't think that they necessarily like make or break a video edit. I think really just the core of video editing really is just getting rid of the stuff that doesn't need to be there and just leaving the stuff that does. And so like I didn't beat Sonic 1 in 30 minutes. I beat Sonic 1 in it took like over an hour for me to record that video, but I cut it down to 30 minutes because that was the time that I spent actually talking about what I wanted to talk about. So, that's the biggest thing. One day, are you going to make a 1 hour video about Sonic media that you like? Probably. I don't know that I'll make a 1 hour video. I'll probably make an hour's worth of little videos about different pieces of Sonic media that I enjoy. But yeah, I'll probably talk about, because I'm really passionate about the Blue Boy, so I'm sure I will. Hey, Need, I've wanted to make videos for a while, but I've always been caught up on the thought of failure. Have you ever had this issue? How did you overcome it? Yes, I did. I've been caught. I was caught up on failure for years, honestly. Ben, thank you for your question, first of all, and second of all, this is not my first YouTube channel. This is probably I've lost count of the number of YouTube channels I've made. I started one when I was like 12 or 13. That was like, I don't know, inspired by iCarly and some shit. We called it a web show. It was made with my cousin. I made like maybe a dozen videos. When he wasn't around, I made them myself. And then my mom found out that like my face and voice and like I was on the internet, and she was like, nah, no more of that. And I was pissed, and I that sucked. And it was a few years before I started making videos again. But then I tried again around the tail end of high school. Some friends of mine in college got around and made a YouTube channel. I made another one that I would call my YouTube channel. And then there's this channel. And so there were lots of times when I would post, I would have all this motivation. I'd have all this stuff that I want to make, and I'd be so pumped for it. And I would post, I'd post for like a month, and I'd post like every couple of days, and I'd post, a dozen videos, 20 videos, something like that. And I'd get less than 100 views on each of them, less than 20 subscribers on the entire channel, and I'd give up. I'd be like, nope, not for me. I'm not cut out for it. I just don't have what it takes. And then in the last 4 years or so, the last 5 years, I really was like, I want to be a I want to create stuff. I want to make videos, and I want to make videos that people watch. God damn it. And I want to live stream, and I want to have these conversations on stream. And I just kept doing that, and I just kept showing up. I just kept, and it's like there is no failure until you stop, right? As long as I keep going, I'm not a failure of a YouTuber, right? And even if I have to take time off, even if I take a step away, it's like, yeah, even if this is an indefinite hiatus, that's all it is. That's all anytime I've quit YouTube has ever been. All the times that I've quit YouTube, it's turned out to be an indefinite hiatus. And so now anytime I get the feeling of quitting, I just think of it, now, well, maybe it's just a hiatus, And really just, it's just about really working on yourself and really deciding what failure means to you, and like, what is the fail state? Like, is it after I make 100 videos and nobody cares? Or like, what does nobody cares means? Like, I had somebody come and comment on the video back when the video was new, and I had about 2,000 subscribers at the time, maybe 2,500. And this person came in and was like, I've been a YouTuber for 10 years. I have only 2,000 subscribers. How do I overcome this complete and utter failure? Something like that. And I was like, well, I've been doing YouTube for a little over 10 years. and I have 2,500 subscribers, and I'm on top of the fucking world right now. And I actually looked at their channel, and it turned out they had like 2,900 subscribers. Like they were close to 3,000. And I was like, that just tells me it's a matter of perspective. Like we've been doing YouTube the same amount of time. We've got the same number of subscribers, right? We've got the same like material conditions, the same metrics, and yet we have completely different mindsets and completely different perspectives. That tells me the difference is the perspective. And so it's really just about deciding what is failure for you. And then, you know, you can decide that failure is like not a big deal and it's something that you just recover from, or you can decide that failure only comes when you quit and then just never quit. It all just kind of depends. Yeah, thanks for asking. And David, thanks for being there to answer Shinobi's question. I do indeed have a Discord. You guys can actually find, if you guys want to engage with me on more than just YouTube, you guys can find in the description of the live stream. There's I've got a Discord, I've got a Twitter. The Discord community is great. I post any updates to the stuff that I make on the Discord. Anytime I go live, anytime you know, I post a video, I post to that Discord, and then of course we it's just a way we can have cool discussions. We can keep these conversations going without having to worry about me having to read, you know, through hundreds of YouTube comments. You know, if you guys ever have any questions outside of a live stream that you actually want me to answer and not just kind of put out to the world, you guys can hit me up on the Discord server. And then of course I also have a website you guys can visit. We've got memberships on there. We've got cool stuff. If you guys want to kind of meet in person to talk about, not in person, but kind of over voice to talk about creativity stuff, we actually have something called the Dapper Club. We've got 3 tiers on the memberships on neontherocks.com. There's neat tier, dapper tier, and immaculate tier. And the dapper tier is the second tier, and we actually meet semi-monthly in Discord to talk about creative stuff and cool stuff like that. So if you guys want to meet over voice, that's something you guys can sign up for. But if you just want to support the content, the best way to do so is through joining the Neat Club. So there's also YouTube memberships. You guys can do YouTube memberships. You guys can do super chats, all that cool stuff. But though I keep less of a cut of those. So it's up to you. If that's something you're interested in, cool. If not, that's okay too. Just being here is really fucking cool. I appreciate you guys' time. Your time is more valuable than any amount of money. So the fact that you guys choosing to spend your time engaging with me and engaging what I'm talking about, that means the world, you know. Thanks for stopping by Synagogue. I too am a dad, part of the reason for soundproofing. That's awesome, Anima. Parents are the real heroes, man. If you're a parent, know that I appreciate you fucking immensely. Actually, speaking of Dr. K, I've actually started reading his book recently. It's called How to Raise a Healthy Gamer, and it's directed at parents whose children struggle with having a healthy relationship with video games. And I'm like, I do not plan on having kids anytime soon, but this book is fucking awesome. I kind of decided recently that I wanted to get back into reading because I've been really trying to disconnect from my phone when I'm in bed, for the reason that I talked about in the video of just lying in bed and watching YouTube too much. And so I decided, me and my girlfriend were going to commit because she likes to read as well, and she's not been reading as much as she wants to. We decided we're like, okay, we're going to keep each other accountable. We're going to go to bed and we're going to read. So she got me Dr. K's book for my birthday, which is she got it as an early gift. My birthday's here in about 2 weeks. It's actually 2 weeks from today. It's April the 8th. And she got me the book, so I've been reading it. And even though I'm not a parent, it makes me appreciate my mom and the struggle that she had with me and things like that. So I definitely need to rewatch this to answer my question as my wife came home. Sorry, Anima. Do you think variety content is superior to having a niche? Not necessarily superior. Depends on what your goal is. Variety content is superior to me because, you know, I've got ADHD. I'm kind of all over the place. My interests kind of wax and wane, depending on the day. Sometimes I'm like, man, I could just do music all my life and I would be happy. And other days I'm like, man, music doesn't even really interest me today. Things like that. So a niche is not really conducive to my like creative like workflow and my creative juices. So, or like a particular niche. And so, for me, it's going to be like, it's just a process of like creating what I want to create. But there are other people who are really good at being single-minded and are really good at keeping their focus and keeping their eye on the ball. Dr. K calls this, you know, he refers to this as kind of Ayurveda teachings, and you know, having kind of a wind mind like mine versus a fire mind, like somebody who can really just intensely and passionately keep on to one thing, and just burn a fire on one particular thing. I think those people benefit greatly from having a niche, because I do think, you know, if you're just speaking from a tactics standpoint, like, you know, if you're really just trying to optimize YouTube for, you know, growth or whatever, or making money or whatever, yes, having a single niche, and having a particular niche that's grounded in something that makes a lot of money and just gets a lot of ad revenue is probably the, you know, the most, it's probably the YouTube meta. Like, let's be real, the YouTube meta is making finance videos. It just is. It, like, you want to call up, you want to talk about most effective tactic available, it's making finance videos. I know channels that do daily finance videos, and it's like they don't even get 10,000 views a video. They are making so much fucking money. And I'm like, you know, I probably could do that. I have all the skills. I even have probably the financial, I know a fair bit about finances. I probably could make that channel, but it's like, I would make it about a week before I wanted to just absolutely rip my eyes out of my skull and eat them. Like, because I would hate doing it. So I just don't, you know, I'm not willing to sacrifice that for money. It's just, money doesn't mean that much to me. And like being a successful YouTuber in that way doesn't mean that much to me. If I'm going to be a successful YouTuber, I want to do it being my purest self and giving my purest self to the platform. And you know, this video that's popping off and that you guys, you know, are praising so highly is proof of that, I think. Do you know anything about YouTube impressions? Because as soon as I reached 1,000 stubs, YouTube stopped giving me as many impressions and showing it to my target audience. Nostalgic time, I'm probably, I can't speak for certain without, you know, I'm not the algorithm. So I don't think anybody can speak for certain. And I certainly can't speak for certain not looking at your analytics. But I guarantee you there's probably there's probably no causation between hitting 1,000 stubs and your impressions not getting pushed anymore. Probably zero. Like, yes, it's correlated because you notice one happened at the same time as the other. Probably no causation. There is nothing about hitting 1,000 subs that triggered something in YouTube to stop pushing your video out to people. It's purely a measure of the algorithm is constantly making calculations as far as like who and how many people to show your video to. And it's more complex than you can ever really truly pin down. You really just are at the mercy of like, if generally speaking, this is how it works. If you have if your video goes out to somebody and that person clicks on the video, they were presented the title and thumbnail, right? And they click on it, and then they watch it for a considerable, either a considerable amount of time or a considerable percentage of the video, if it's not a long video, and they engage with it. All of those three things increase the likelihood that the video will then be shown to a viewer who watches similar content. That is the purest breakdown of the YouTube algorithm. So if your video is being shown to people, and they're not clicking on it, they're not watching it through, they're not engaging with it, generally YouTube will stop recommending it to people like that viewer. And so the life of every YouTube video when you put it out is that it will get recommended to some people, sometimes at random, sometimes based on where your audience has been in the past. And either those people will watch it or they won't. And YouTube will test it with other audiences. It will actually pretty much always test it with other audiences, just at different rates. And then once it finds a particular kind of viewer that really is engaging with the video, it will show that video to more of those people. And so like, for example, this video, there's a particular kind of a viewer that either engages with Dr. K's videos or wants to be a YouTuber or likes Sonic or all of the above. Especially if you're all of the above, YouTube is like pushing this video in front of you. And so the video is growing literally exponentially. So it's all based on that, and you can't really make predictions based on, you know, one video's worth of data. Statistical analysis just doesn't really work that way. And now you have a stream, so here to say thanks. Morgvat, I appreciate you stopping in. I wanted to take the stream to engage with people like you guys that were coming in because of that video, so appreciate you stopping by. Hey bro, really great content you do. Thank you, Wi-Fi University. Appreciate you. I've made countless of channels before I knew what content I wanted to make. I started when I was 11, now 21. I lost the motivation and drive recently, even though I've been told I make good videos. Blesh, I feel you. I've been there, brother. I've been there more times than I can count. I've wanted to quit YouTube and quit being a content creator more times than I can count. So you're not alone. But what always brought me back is that there was always a video I wanted to make. Even when I didn't want to be a YouTuber anymore, I didn't want to make stuff anymore. You know, I would spend some time away and there would be a video I wanted to make, and I'd be like, man, that would be really cool. I really want to put that out in the world. That doesn't exist yet, and I want it to exist. And so then I made it exist. And time and time again, that has each time that has happened, it has paid off in a bigger and better way each time. So I think you should keep at it. You know, if you feel the calling, listen to it. If you feel the calling to make more content, listen to it. If you feel the calling to step away from content and it's not your thing, step away from content. I'm glad to hear that, Jeremiah. I appreciate that you appreciated the video. I remember Dr. K mentioning that ADHD kids speak in order to think, while most neurotypical kids think before they speak. Interesting insight. I agree, Shinobi. I definitely speak in order to think, oftentimes. And at the same time, sometimes I'll have a lot of thoughts running through my head, and I'll try to say them, and I'll be unable to find the words suddenly. It's difficult. It's difficult. But you know, we out here. So let's see. If I have an idea for a video that I think is really good, is it more beneficial to save that idea for later and make a smaller idea, or just go ahead and make that video? It depends. Thanks deeply. It depends. It depends on how big the idea is. If you've got a really great idea that you think is going to be like timeless, and that you think you really want, you're like, I really want to do this justice, I don't think it's necessarily the wrong decision to wait until you can do it justice. There's definitely videos that I've wanted to make where it's like, I could make that right now, but I could not make it the way I want to make it right now. And I think that that's okay. There's definitely videos like, for example, I've kind of always wanted to make Counter-Strike videos, but I've never been good enough at Counter-Strike to really make stuff that was worth making. And so I've been slowly getting better at Counter-Strike, and maybe one day I'll make Counter-Strike videos. But another thing too is that there's been certain videos that I'm like, I would really want to be a better editor before I want to tackle that. Also, like, length of the video is good to think about, because like if it's going to be a really, really long video, that's going to take a lot of time when you're first starting out and you don't know that much about video editing. One thing about video editing and getting better at it is it's really about how quickly you can edit a video, and how much you can optimize the recording process for getting a video that's easy to edit. And if you start with a video that's really long and a really big project, you can burn out before you even finish it. If you're new to the game. So maybe start small, just to kind of test the waters. But at the same time, though, you can create something and it not be so good, and then you can go back and recreate it later. You know, if you put out a video that you are really like, that you think is a really great idea, and it gets, 200 views or even 1,000 views, or less views than you think it deserves. And then you, a year later, you come back and you're like, that video is still a good idea, and I still really believe in that idea, and I believe I could probably make that video again, but better. Make the video again. Don't even unpublish, don't even like private the first video. Just make the video again and just make it better and just put it out in a better version. And like literally, if the 1,000 people who watched that video a year ago come back, they will be one comment among presumably maybe a lot of comments that, will get buried. It's not like people are going to be like, cancel him for doing the same video again. It doesn't really work that way. You can really just remake the same video and nobody's going to care. Like nobody's going to, roast you about it. So, if you want to make the video now and make it later, who's to say, go for it. Make it when it feels right to make it, and remake it when it feels right to remake it. What an amazing video. Thank you, Mauricio. I think it's Mauricio. I started streaming GTA RP after all these years of wanting to do it. Fanjector, that's fucking awesome. I remember having that conversation with you like years ago. That's fucking cool. Not gonna lie, the song music is legit. Thank you. I don't actually have my headphones on right now, so I'm not paying attention to what music is playing at any given time. But glad you guys are digging the music. Say it takes 10 years to be an overnight success. I'm proof of that. This feels like overnight success, even to me. It feels like overnight my channel is suddenly popping off. I mean, I literally doubled in subscribers over one weekend. And I went from having it's been a long time since I've really done a live stream where I've had a significant more than 10 viewers. And now here I am with 44 viewers in this chat. And like that's fucking cool. Like what's up, Sam? How you doing, brother? Sam's been incredibly supportive since this video's been popping off. He and I have been having a few conversations about it, and we've come to some really cool conclusions, and we've come up with some really cool ideas together. So, much love to you, my brother. Let's see. Thing that's motivated most throughout content creation is improvement. That's awesome, Swack. Experimenting and pushing the envelope with each video is something that has always pushed me as well. Do you think authenticity videos would be the new meta on YouTube? Absolutely. Now, like I said earlier, Neo, the meta on YouTube is going to be finance videos. If you really want to get down to the dirty of what the meta is, but I do think that there is a new kind of gap for really authentic voices to be heard on YouTube, and I think we're gonna see a rise in it in the next few months / years. Jeremiah says a Counter-Strike video will definitely get some views. You say that. However, the worst performing video on my channel right now is the only Counter-Strike video I've done, I believe. I don't know if it's categorically the worst. Like, I don't know if it's like abso-fucking-lutely the lowest amount of views. Let's see. Let's look kind of behind the scenes here. Where is 86,000? Holy shit. It's about, so guys, we might in real time see this new video could become the highest viewed video on my channel. Hell, if it keeps going by this week, it might be the highest viewed video I've ever been involved in. Like, I've got a few client videos that are in the 100,000 view range. This video might surpass those, man. I'm excited. Let's see. Yeah, my Counter-Strike video has 132 views, which I believe is, yeah, even lower than my music videos. So, yeah, it's funny you say that. But my Counter-Strike video did not pop off. But that's okay. You know, it was fun to make. It took me just a few days to make, and it was fun. So I don't regret it. I also got to play around in Source Filmmaker to make the thumbnail for it. Which was cool. I was so motivated. I was posting every day sometimes, and I finally got monetized within a couple months, and it feels like everything just went downhill. Well, Cozy, sometimes when we have a goal, you know, there's a story I heard. Let's see. There's a story I heard once that Michael Phelps won the gold medal for swimming in the Olympics, and then woke up the next day and was like severely depressed. And it was because and I don't know if that's true or not, it's just kind of a story. But the idea is that, you know, sometimes when we have like a tangible goal, like, you know, getting monetized, or, you know, 1,000 subscribers, or, you know, one that I've had for a really long time is 10,000 subscribers. But I've kind of let go of that goal because sometimes whenever you hit it, I know there's a video I watched that was actually on a different topic. It was like, it was called influencer courses are garbage, or something along those lines. And it was calling out all of the different how to grow on YouTube channels and the courses they had put out that were really, really terrible and had a lot of outdated information about YouTube. And in that video at the end, he actually talked about when he got 1 million subscribers for the first time, when the creator of that video got his 1 million subscribers, and the feeling of emptiness that came from that, where he was just like, oh, hey, I feel exactly how I did 5 minutes ago before I realized I had 1 million subscribers. And in fact, he lost a lot of steam because now there's not that like tangible goal. And so for me, it's less about like, you know, ever since I put out that Sonic challenge video, that's like that popped off, the Sonic without spin dashing, that got 90,000 views. That at the time was like the single best performing video I had ever made, including client works at the time. And when I achieved that video, like, I was like, holy shit, I've made it. I've proved to myself, I've proved to everybody, like, I had this chip on my shoulder that like I had what it takes to be a creator, and I just wasn't doing it. And then I did it, and I was like, oh, hey, I was right. But then like, it just was like, that was cool for about 45 minutes. And then I was like, all right, well, now what's next? And you know, I'm still figuring out the answer to that question. So, you know, just be careful with those hard and fast goals, like 10,000 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers or 1 million subscribers, or something that's tangible like that. Because, you know, you can use that to trick your mind into thinking that that's something that's valuable. But, once you kind of, it's kind of like eating a cookie. It's like, once you eat the cookie, it's like, well, I guess your tummy's full now for about, you know, an hour. And then you're going to want another cookie. And what's going to be the next high, right? You know? And so, be careful chasing that, because there's other things you can chase. There's other things you put your mind to that are going to be healthier for you in the long run. Jonas says, just watched your You Should Be a YouTuber vid. Really liked it, but why do you dislike Jordan Peterson? I'm reading his book right now, but what is your view on his stuff? So I read his book as well. I mentioned earlier that I don't want to talk too much about Jordan Peterson in this stream, but essentially, in his earlier days of content creation, he was putting out fairly good life advice. His lectures on psychology were fairly evidence-based and had some really good stuff in it. Back when there weren't as many good resources for that kind of stuff. And I even read his book, 12 Rules for Life, and there's definitely some stuff in there that is valuable. But number one, I don't like his appeals to nature. Appeal to nature is a well-documented logical fallacy, and he appeals to nature all the time in order to defend and kind of support conservative ideals and policies that I don't necessarily agree with. And then more tangibly and like more egregiously, I would say, he just posts a lot of transphobia. He just talks and spouts a lot of transphobic beliefs, and I'm not about that. So that has made me kind of fall off with Dr. Peterson. But some of his ideas are good, and a lot of those ideas I think are better articulated by other people, namely Dr. Alok Kanoja of Healthy Gamer fame. What are some of your favorite video games of all time? If I had to say top 5, I would say, in no particular order, Metal Gear Solid 3, Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Limiting myself to one game per franchise, because probably Metal Gear games and Sonic games would take up my entire top 10. Probably Spyro 3. Mother 3 is up there. Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Counter-Strike 2, if you could lump them in as one game, probably up there. Terraria's up there. Sly Cooper, maybe Sly 2, if I had to pick one from that series. Maybe Jack 2 from the Jack and Daxter series. Those are some of my favorites. Probably Twilight Princess, if I had to pick a Zelda game. Twilight Princess, probably top 10. Let's see. I think YouTube should remove the view count and sub count for audience and new creators and YouTube culture change. Any thoughts? There is something to be said about YouTube being kind of manipulative, using analytics to kind of put creators in a bad headspace to get them to focus on analytics more. There was another video I watched talking about and kind of interviewing people. I actually think it was the influencer course video that I was just talking about. He interviewed a lot of people about the YouTube dashboard and the creator dashboard and the YouTube analytics. And he was basically like, what do you think about the 1 out of 10 and the fireworks and all that? And they were like, fucking god awful. Nothing but negativity. I hate it. I hate how much I check YouTube Studio because analytics just control my life and I can't stop, and it's a problem. And YouTube is almost certainly preying on that negativity and preying on that to get creators to engage with their analytics more. And I definitely think there's something to be said about that, but I don't know that it's really practical to consider YouTube hiding the view count and sub count from the audience. I just don't think it's gonna happen. Yeah, Sam said it well. YouTube is business versus the creator first. Yeah. Thank you for giving your thoughts. I started a channel recently. I'm only 2 vids deep and been previously pessimistic about uploading. Your video was inspiring. Keep up the great work, man. Thank you, Tony. You keep up the great work, man. I agree and disagree, Haya. Because I get where Sam is coming from when he says they're going to do right by the audience. They will do right. YouTube will do right by the audience before they'll do right for the creator, because the audience affects their bottom dollar more than the creator does. But Sam, I think highest point is that the prioritization is really going to be like on the advertiser and on the money making part of it, and then the audience will come second to that, really. So it's really hard to say that YouTube will even really prioritize the audience. It's also hard to say that YouTube will prioritize the audience when it's actively pushing, I would say, harmful content to the forefront because it's engaging. You know, these platforms are very aware of the fact that they push controversial and negativity first type of content to the forefront. They're very conscious about it. And I would say that's anti-audience in a way, you know. I have to go to bed now, but thank you for making it. Love Sonic, and you just earned a sub. Greetings from London, UK. See ya, Scribe. I appreciate you stopping in. Ugh. I don't hate Jordan Peterson, JSSM. Hate is a very strong word, and you know, I don't hate a whole lot of people. I very strongly don't like what he puts out. I would say that I hate transphobia. But I don't hate Jordan Peterson. Like, I just that would imply passion. And I just don't strongly like, that guy. Like I just don't. Can you talk about the importance of titles, is Jorah? You know, I don't know that I'm necessarily qualified to talk about the importance of titles. I don't know that I'm necessarily qualified to give anything insightful about the importance of titles. I would say that other people haven't, said better than I have. Titles are important in the idea that you want to get people to click on your video, I guess. I don't know. Like, I think about, like, when I go to title my video, I think about, like, okay, how can how can I get somebody, how can I create a title that's going to give people an idea of what they're going to experience in the video that is going to kind of incite a feeling in them? How can I get an emotionally insightful title? So it's like, the title will either ask a question, like, can you beat this game if under these restrictions? And then the viewer will ask themselves, like, well, that's a great question. I don't know if you could beat Sonic Origins, all of Sonic Origins without spin dashing. And then the hope is that, if you're a Sonic fan, you see that video and you're like, surely it must be possible. And then they maybe scroll past and then they think about it and they're like, there is that wall and hydrosity zone you have to spin dash through. Surely that, but maybe, okay, but the video is 16 minutes long. All right, I'll watch it, or if I'm like stating something that's maybe controversial, like you should be a YouTuber or a creator or an artist or something. It's like, not everybody believes that. Not everybody believes they should be a creator. And so that's either going to be a thing where they're like, oh, hey, I do want to be a creator. And so I'm going to click on this video because it sounds like it validates me, or I don't know if I should be a creator. I'm going to click on this video to hear what this guy has to say, So that's kind of the importance of titles for me, I'd say. You are the man. Thanks for giving me a boost to start making something. You're welcome, Gnosis. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in and leaving that. I appreciate you. Big issue with goals is ones like subscribers/views are very shallow. Ones that give you a purpose outside of those shit, I keep clicking on your comment. Ones that give you a purpose outside of those numerical goals are always going to feel more satisfying. I agree, Sam. I agree. You also don't have any control over those goals. I don't have any control over how many subscribers I get. I can't make people subscribe. I don't even really like asking people to subscribe. You can't, you literally cannot control what other people do. And so having goals set based on what other people do are goals that just aren't as effective, because you don't have the more control you have on whether a goal is met, the better the goal is, I would say. So a great goal is like, I want to publish a video this week, because that's something you have complete control over. Save for like, extenuating circumstances like loss of internet or like loss of power, something that physically or materially prevents you from uploading a video. Having a goal to upload a video this week is like something that can be achieved. And so that makes for a much more. So for me, my goal with YouTube and in general is like to create, more videos and to make videos that continue to creatively satisfy me and to continue to be creatively stimulating and continue to push the envelope on putting things out in the world that I think the world is missing. So, and that has brought me so much more success than any other goal. That has brought me more subscribers and more likes and more comments and more views than any other view or comment or subscriber based goal has ever brought me. So YouTube turned being a YouTuber into numbers crunching analysis desk job. To a certain extent I like that. I enjoy looking at analytics from an analytics standpoint. I really enjoyed statistics in high school. I took college level statistics when I was a junior in high school, and I fucking loved that class. Sophomore in high school. And ever since, I've wanted to apply statistics to just about everything I learn in life. The problem is that you don't often get statistically, if you know a little bit about statistical analysis, there's a lot you can do with YouTube analytics that would lead you to believe you figured it out and you know what's going on. But if the more you learn about statistical analysis, the more you realize that the statistics that the YouTube analytics give you are completely and totally inadequate to really come to solid conclusions about YouTube and about your videos. And so, that becomes its own like, it becomes its own ick. Have you played Freedom Planet before? I don't think so. Ban Clam. Putting a link to the live stream most recent videos is also a good strategy. I appreciate that, Jeremiah. I thought about it. I thought that would be cool. is I was like, oh, let me just update the description of this video. I was also going to update the pinned comment, but I was like, nah, that's fine. I won't be able to find the other comment, and I want to leave it pinned. But I was like, this video is the reason I'm doing this live stream, is I want to connect with people that are coming in from that video and have joined the channel from that video. And I noticed that literally as I'm answering comments on that video, more comments are being left. And so like people are literally constantly engaging that video right now. And I'm like, well, shit. If I do that, then like I could live stream and I could actually start engaging with these people coming right out of the video. That would be pretty cool. I might even, there's probably even something to be said about, maybe you can change the end screen of your most recent video to your live stream, kind of like while it's live. That you could probably do that if you wanted to go in and mess with it enough. That's probably pretty smart. But I'm not trying to game the meta that hard. I do too, Haya. That's why I'm trying to strike the balance more. I'm trying to find a way to strike the balance. I love, what's up, Rebecca? I'm of the belief that YouTube hasn't been about art for a while. I think when you start making money doing what you do as art, you need to make a decision to do it as a business or keep it as art. Yes and no. I think there is a way to strike the balance. You do, you know, when you start, you can either just make the art and whatever money comes in, right? You know, if you want to post on YouTube whatever you want to post and just be satisfied with whatever ad revenue you get, that's a perfectly valid way to approach the platform. You're probably not going to make a career out of that. You know, if you're trying to make a career out of being a YouTuber, that's not the best way to do it. And at the same way, you know, you could approach YouTube and you can be like, I just need to make as much money as physically possible. And for some reason or another, I've decided YouTube is the vehicle in which I'm going to do that. And then just, you know, make AI generated finance videos all fucking day. Just have an AI generate finance videos all fucking day. And you can make probably a bunch of money doing that. Everybody else is somewhere in the middle, right? Everybody else is trying to find their balance between those two places, I would say. And I think that balance is probably in a different place for everybody. I think I'm somewhere smack dab in the middle myself. And I think probably the middle is probably, I would say from my understanding, probably the healthiest place for people to be if they want to continue maintaining their creative integrity and make a living from YouTube. And I would say Sam, that you are also striking a balance between the two, even though you may view it differently and you're viewing it more as approaching it as a business. The comments thing is like a Hydra. That's true. Yeah. Every time I answer a comment, two more get placed. It's really fucking cool. I gotta admit, it's really cool to go in, see just like a page of comments and be like, holy shit, I just read all the comments like 45 minutes ago. And I'll go in and respond to all of them. And then I'll hit refresh and there will be new comments there that are unanswered. And I'm like, holy shit, I've never experienced this before in my fucking life. And so that's, you know, it's fun. It's gonna lose its novelty here in about a week or so. But it's pretty cool right now. I'm enjoying it while I can. I'll be real. I saw that video today, hit me hard as I got kicked from the partner program recently. I think I needed to hear the positivity. You got kicked from the YouTube partner program or kicked from the Twitch partner program? Like what do you mean by that? You don't have to answer if you don't want to. I'm just curious. Are you American? Yes, I am indeed American. Do you go to the gym? With these noodle arms, are you kidding me? Bro, I'm a twink. No, I do not go to the gym. I wish I went to the gym. I need to exercise more often. My idea of exercise is playing Beat Saber. It's you know. I go around and play the bagpipes in places to see if they kick me out or not. There was a guy that used to do that with saxophones. He called him Sexy Sax Man. And like that used to be the videos he made. He went viral doing that. So I mean, like that's a cool idea for a video. Beat Saber cardio, let's go. I want a treadmill for real. A treadmill would be great. I would love a treadmill as well. Just be able to get some steps in. when the weather's not great. But I probably should just start going outside more when the weather is great. I gotta stop making excuses for myself. But yeah, I actually do want to get back into Beat Saber pretty soon. I struggle with finding the time. I'm slowly incorporating more daily habits that are improving my life, like reading before I go to bed and things like that, and going to bed at a consistent time, and just taking better care of myself. So I'm gonna look into I'm looking into my partner likes yoga and I like to meditate, and so we're gonna have like mental health time together, where she's gonna go do yoga and I'm gonna go meditate. We're gonna incorporate that pretty soon and be accountability partners with that. And then I think we're probably, since it's now spring, probably gonna start going for walks together and things like that to get exercise and sunlight back into our routine. You should make an alt and make shitty AI finance videos just to see what happens. So back when I quit my day job, I was actually back when that would have been back when GameStop and shit like that were popping off, if you guys remember that whole shit. And I was actually I kind of engaged with that shit and then bounced off it a little bit because, I got burned financially. But I actually learned quite a bit about stock trading and specifically about options trading. And I legitimately feel like I could teach people options trading fairly well if I really set my mind to it. But I would get probably about 3 or 4 videos in and then just want to end my life. If I'm being real with you, I said earlier, gouge my eyes out and eat them. So I don't think I'm going to do that anytime soon. No, you basically just named the dialectic between seeing a video as a thing in itself and seeing it as a video for the vehicle for the generation of capital. I mean, you just threw a lot of terms at me that I don't even know that I understand what the word dialectic means, but sure. But I think people should want to be paid for their art. I don't think we should all be starving artists. I think that I think it's okay that I want to that I'm somebody, if you guys don't know, some of you guys new to the channel, I'm a very staunch anti-capitalist. And I've got a lot of very strong political beliefs that you'll probably hear me spout at some point. But I'm generally anti-capitalist. But I also believe that people should be able to make art and be able to express themselves creatively and have their needs met. Having their basic needs met, having a house, being able to live comfortably. Live with what's the phrase that I really like? Live with dignity, have dignified living standards, and still have creativity as their driving force. I think that I think that those can be reconciled. And capitalism is unfortunately the only vehicle we have with which to do that right now. So I think that's unfortunate, and I'm going to keep speaking out against that. But at the same time, if I don't feel like a sellout, and I don't feel like it harms my impact in a meaningful way if I throw ads in the most recent video. I ran ads and I put them in cheeky places so that you guys would get a kick out of it. And I'm some of you may have seen ads on this live stream so far. And it feels good. I'm glad that I'm able to, because that means I get to spend more time making videos, because right now I'm having to spend time that I'm not making videos. I'm doing things like I'm doing driving apps. I'm doing DoorDash and Uber Eats and things like that. And the more successful these videos get, the more days I get to take off doing that, driving for those apps, and I get to spend either with my girlfriend or making more videos. So become a member today. Go to neatotherocks.com and join the Neat Club. Moral of the story, if you guys want to. That's the best place you guys can support the content. I keep 97% of the money that comes through neatotherocks.com. So as opposed to YouTube's 70-30 cut and Twitch's even worse cut. Let's see. How do you get motivated to make things? I have so much and I want to do no energy to do it. So I'm probably going to make a video about motivation, because I think motivation is largely something that's misunderstood by a lot of people. Motivation is something that you cannot control. You cannot make yourself motivated in a way. You can, but you can't at the same time. So to a certain extent, motivation is a reflection of our values. You know, like if you value, say, exercise, right? You will, you know, get the motivation to exercise, you know, whenever you like consciously think about how you value exercising, right? Like if I think about exercising right now, I get the urge to play Beat Saber, right? But I'm like, I'm not going to just end stream and play Beat Saber, right? I'm not just going to end it right now. I'm more motivated to continue the stream right now. And so motivation is something that it's something that happens in the brain, but you also can't control it. Like whenever you're hungry, you're going to be really motivated to find food. And the hungrier you get, the more motivated you're going to be to find food. And you cannot control that. That motivation is going to come whether you like it or not. And whenever you, if you hold your breath, you're going to suddenly become very motivated to breathe very quickly. Very quickly. You will become extremely motivated to breathe. But motivation. Oh, hey, Rosenkritz is here. Jesus Christ. I'm so sorry. You even have a guide on pronouncing your name on your channel. I'm going to go to it just so I can do you justice because you're a great dude. Rosenkreutz. Rosenkreutz is here, everybody. Really appreciate you, homie. Really appreciate you. But anyways, what was I saying? ADHD is a hell of a drug. Motivation. Yes, motivation. So, when it comes to the motivation of making a video, oftentimes I don't have the motivation to make a video. You know, there are certain videos that I'm really motivated to create. But for example, these last two videos I've posted, which are actually not the videos that a lot of you guys are coming here from. My two most recent videos are a Spyro challenge and a Sonic review. Both of those videos have been sitting on my editing program and sitting on my hard drive for like 6 months now ish. The review for the Sonic game came out in November, so since November I've been working on that one. And the Spyro one I recorded the context for in May. I recorded the clips for, rather, the footage for, in May. And I was like, whew, that's the, I one day just woke up and I was like, okay, I need to get these videos out. I'm not motivated to get these videos out, but I'm tired of them sitting on my hard drive. You could call it motivation in a sense, but really what I decided is I was like, despite the fact that I'm not motivated to create these, or to get these out, I'm going to get them out anyway because I may as well, because I think that they'll be useful. And so I just did it anyway. So a lot of becoming motivated is actually transcending motivation and getting over motivation and realizing that, hey, I'm going to be motivated to do stuff that isn't helpful a lot of the time. Like a lot of your motivation is going to be towards playing video games or staying in bed or pursuing things that aren't as meaningful to you. And part of the message of this video that we're all here for is listening to something that isn't as motivating. You know, Spider-Man was not motivated to keep being Spider-Man. In fact, he was motivated to keep going to his classes or to show up to his classes and to show up to Mary Jane's play. And he was motivated to be Peter Parker. He was motivated to live, you know, a more relaxing life. But that didn't bring him happiness. That didn't bring him fulfillment. What brought him fulfillment is when he decided to be Spider-Man, even despite the fact that everything was motivating him not to be. Motivation's overrated. I want to know if this video has hit 100,000 views yet. I don't think yet. It probably will, soon. I made a joke that I didn't think it was going to get 40,000 views today, but it's actually, it's continuing to climb in views. It had 70,000 this morning and it has 86,000 now. So, you know, it very well could. It probably will cross 100,000 views tomorrow or the next day, if I had to guess. It's going to continue. Unless it just hits a fucking random ass, really hard plateau, I'm going to guess it's going to cross 100,000 pretty soon, which is wild. Fucking wild. I always appreciate the argument that there's value itself to people earning on platform while subverting the platform itself. That's part of what I appreciated about your video. I really appreciated the fake out to the Squarespace sponsorship, and how in the comments people were talking about like, woo, you had me sweating there for a second. That was really funny. Let's see. How long does it take you to make a video? Do you have a structured process? So it depends on the video. So like I said, one of those videos was kind of cooking for months, but I was obviously not actively working on it for months. These like really high intensity edits that I've been doing have been more on the more on the side of, you know, they take me maybe a month if you know, it depends on how long it takes me to write the script, how long it takes me to edit it, how much motivation I have, how much I'm able to work through not having the motivation to work on it. So it's all just kind of like different factors. But like, for example, this most recent, the you should be a YouTuber video, it took me, I saw Rouse and Kurtz's video, and then I was really motivated to just write down a bunch of thoughts. And then about 2 weeks later, I came back to those thoughts. I restructured them into notes, or like an outline. And then I kind of turned that into a script, more or less. And then it took me about 2 days to do that. Probably a total workload of about 8 hours to do that. And then probably took me, it took me about an hour to record, and probably only 2 or 3 hours to edit, maybe at most, I would say. And then I spent maybe an hour on the thumbnail, maybe 2, because I kind of experimented with it a little bit, and then wrote the title and description. So maybe 12 hours total work on that video. I probably did not do that math right, probably more than that, but maybe between 20 and 40 hours per video, we'll say. Generally speaking, probably often more than that, but generally speaking, I would say 20 to 40 hours per video for me. Same with client videos. I often spend quite a bit of time on my client videos, simply because I don't like doing a half-assed job, if I'm being real. Sorry, bro, got that YouTube Vance, no ads. That's okay, Nell, because I still make money from that. If you get monetized on YouTube, they will pay you a portion of somebody's YouTube Premium subscription if they watch your video. So, and usually it's better than the CPMs, the raw CPMs. So, let's see. Relying solely on motivation is not a great idea because you don't have direct control of it. Rebecca said it very well. OMG, wait, what's your job? This is my job. DoorDash and Uber Eats are my side gig. This is my Spider-Man. DoorDash is my pizza delivery. You know what I mean? Uber Eats is my daily bugle. Actually, editing for clients is kind of my daily bugle, because I take what I do in my J job and I monetize it somehow, which is kind of what Peter does by being Spider-Man. He sells pictures of Spider-Man, right? So let's see. For context, it's saying your video is currently at 2,000 views per hour. So if that continues, it'll be approximately, what is that, 7 hours? So yeah, basically by the end of the day, it'll be at 100,000 views if that continues. Which is fucking wild to think about. If it crosses, I would say, so let me think. It's at 88,000 right now. Holy shit. What I'm loving is, for the first time ever, we're getting people in real time coming from that video to this stream, which is pretty cool. Why don't you make vids instead of doing DoorDash and Uber? Because videos don't make as much. Spending 4 hours on a video does not make me as much money as spending 4 hours Uber Eatsing and DoorDashing. And so I need to make enough money to pay my rent. So as for right now, in order to make enough money to pay my rent, I have to do those driving apps. But as soon as I am able to make enough from content that I can pull back on the number of hours I'm driving, I will. And then eventually I won't have to do those driving apps anymore. So let me see. I go to Emerald. Did I spell it wrong? I always spell it wrong. It's 2 D's, not 2 L's. Emerald. Let's see here. His video that I worked on. Speed Strats Sega doesn't want you to know about has 114,000 views. So I'll zoom in for you guys a little bit. Big thumbnails. Where is it? Worked on this one. Worked on this one. And I worked on this one. I'll zoom out a little bit. Yeah, 114,000 views on that one. God damn it. Where'd it go? I went too far. Shit. There it is. Speed Strat Sega doesn't want you to know about that. That is currently my most successful video that I've ever been a part of. I edited this video for Emerald. It has 114,000 views. So if this video crosses 114,000 views, it will officially become my most successful video of all time in terms of views. I would already say it's my most successful video of all time, because it clearly has had more impact and more of like brought more value to people's lives than anything I've ever put out in the world before. And that's fucking really fucking cool, I must say. Do you feel pressure to make more Sonic related content because that does well, or is it not a burden because you enjoy it? Yes. Yeah, both. I definitely felt a little bit of a pressure to kind of tailor this video to a Sonic audience, and that clearly paid off. But I probably could have tailored this video without Sonic. It just so happened that I thought Sonic was the best way to tailor this video, because I thought some themes related to Sonic 1 would make for interesting points of conversation in the video. So it just worked out. But at the same time, yeah, when I post a Spyro challenge video and it you know, it's performing 1/10 of the magnitude of that my Sonic challenge videos are performing, that does sting a little, and that does, you know, kind of make me go a little bit. But it's just in the nature of the beast, where YouTube is basically just sending that video out to Sonic people, and Sonic people are going, nah, I don't really want to watch that right now. And so eventually the YouTube algorithm will say, okay, well, Sonic people aren't really watching this, who will? And I'm guessing eventually that video will find at least some audience with you know, people who appreciate a Spyro challenge video. But yeah, I do kind of feel a little bit of a pressure to include and kind of incorporate Sonic into kind of what I make now, because that's kind of what the expectation is from the audience. But at the same time, I also don't necessarily feel super limited by that, because I like Sonic the Hedgehog, and I like incorporating, you know, if Sonic ends up becoming, you know, like I put Sonic in the thumbnail for this live stream, because I wanted the thumbnail for this live stream to look very similar and harken back to the thumbnail for the video that you guys are all watching. So that people would know, if they're not familiar with me and my channel yet, and they just happen to watch the video, they would make the connection that, oh, hey, it's that guy again, and maybe you want to, you know, head in. You know, if you guys feel called out by this, you know, let me know. If you guys are like, hey, that's me that you're talking about, you know, let me know, because I'm pretty sure that more than one person that's probably been the case. So, but at the same time, you know, if, you know, little blue boy is gonna inadvertently become kind of, you know, little kind of mascot for my channel in a way, then like, am I really that mad about it? No, because fucking love Sonic, you know, gotta admit. Oh, I think Phantom Hive was actually saying, why don't you make POV videos of delivering, like point of view videos, delivering Uber Eats and DoorDash? Well, number one, I don't want to be giving people's addresses out. Number two, I'm not trying to get doxxed. Like, I'm just not. I ain't trying to people knowing where I live, where I'm driving, where my routes are. I'm good with that. Ain't about that. Love your creator view. It makes me want to start making videos on top of my other creative avenues. That's awesome, Bale. That's awesome. Big issue for me when making videos is having a day where I'm very motivated and having a lot of fun with creating videos and spending like 8 to 10 hours on them, but then the next day, like half. Yeah, exo programmer, that's you're at the mercy of motivation there. And so when you're at the mercy of motivation, you don't actually have control of when you make YouTube videos and how you make YouTube videos. You know, your mind is going to be like, going to think like all these cool ideas, all these cool ideas, and you're going to be super motivated. And then you're going to go out and you're going to make them. And then you're going to spend all of that creative energy, or that motivational energy, I should say. And then it's going to be on empty. And then you're not going to know what to do. And so, learning how to spend a reasonable amount of time creating, it's kind of like audience stuff. Like, you don't want to make a movie that's 4 hours long, because even if 2.5 hours of that movie is really good, you're gonna bring it down by having an hour and a half of crap, right? Potentially. And occasionally somebody will make a 4-hour fucking movie because they're like, this movie needed to be 4 hours. Martin Scorsese thought that The Irishman needed to be 4 hours, and so he made it 4 hours. But generally speaking, you want to cut what's unnecessary, right? So that you can leave the audience wanting more, right? And you kind of want to do that with your motivation. There's going to be days that you're going to be super motivated, and it's important on those days to maybe not work as, just grind yourself into the dust, spend 16 hours, 8 hours, however long, just fucking charging away, because the next day you're probably going to be, your tank's going to kind of be empty. And so really, if you start to transcend, like, you work when you're motivated and you work when you're not, you start to really take control of when you get that workout. And that's the difference between George R.R. Martin and fucking the other guy, The Shining, Gerald's Game, that guy, Stephen King. That's it. That's the difference between Stephen King and George R.R. Martin. George R.R. Martin's been working on Winds of Winter for like fucking 14 years or some shit. He's come out with like the Game of Thrones series is not, or the Song of Ice and Fire series is not yet finished. And he's published like one book since the show became a thing. Because George R.R. Martin only writes when he's motivated to write. And ever since he became like a fucking multi-millionaire off of the TV show, it's like, what incentive does he, like, why would he feel motivated to write right now? And so he struggles with finding the motivation to write. Stephen King, he made it his goal. He's like, every day I wake up, every day I write at least one chapter. If I get the chapter done, I get the chapter done. When I sit down and I write until I have a chapter. It doesn't matter if I'm motivated, if I'm not motivated. Some days it's easy, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's a good chapter, sometimes it's crap and I gotta rewrite it. But he puts out fucking novels, and he's a successful writer, and he's a celebrated writer because he's constantly pushing the envelope and really and honing his craft even when he doesn't feel motivated to do so. And that's really like that's the way to do it, I think. Because, man, there's something satisfying. I've had days where I've like been super, hardcore, and I've gotten into, and I've done like a 16-hour day where I've just fucking grinded through an edit and got a cool video out, and I felt super satisfied at the end. There's also been days where I'm like, I've woken up, I've been like, fuck, I am not motivated at all to work today, and I'm not motivated at all to get this video done. And then I still spent 4 hours editing. And maybe I didn't get the video done, and maybe I only made so much progress, but I'm like, wow, I made a lot of progress today despite not being motivated. And I feel really good about that. And some days that's more satisfying than getting the 16-hour edit done. Let's see. By the way, are you actively looking for more clients right now? Yes and no. If the right thing comes up, I know somebody that I'm kind of been homies with and that I'm friends with hopped into the Discord last night and was like, hey, anybody doing commissions for overlays right now? And I was like, you can DM me and we can talk about it. And so we're talking about it. But I wouldn't say I'm like actively looking for clients right now. So in a sense, no, I'm not looking for clients right now, but I'm also not like closed. Like I'm not totally against clients right now. If like you're implying something, if you've got somebody you want to hook me up with, or something like that. But I'm definitely careful about taking on too many client projects right now, because I really, I've been having a lot of creative energy pent up for a long time. I've been wanting to make my own stuff for a long time, and it's clearly paying off that it's clearly paying off that I'm starting to put my creative voice back out there for myself. So you're beginning to walk the path of followed for personality instead of followed for sticking to one niche, and it's a treacherous but rewarding path. I agree. There's the for a certain to a certain extent, and Sam has actually been telling me this for a really long time, and I used to not listen to him, but really, like, if you in a way, we exist in a time where the niche can be you and just what you like. You know, I put out stuff that you know, people who enjoy music are gonna like, people who want to be YouTubers are gonna like, people who like Sonic are gonna like. Very few people are going to like all of the same things that I like. But number one, those people are going to be my biggest fans. Those are the Hayas, those are the David Scotts, those are the guys who have been OGs for a really long time. And number two, there's going to be a lot of people who like some of the same things that I do and are going to find some overlap. And so there's going to be, this soundtrack is awesome. What song is this? This is I don't know when that comment came in, but right now this is Stream Beats by Harris Heller. Let's see. What was I saying? But like, if I incorporate, you know, I'm gonna inevitably alienate some people by incorporating references that they're not gonna get, perchance. But you know, as I incorporate more Sonic related jokes and Metal Gear related jokes and Spyro related jokes and references to being a musician into my channel, like, I was able to connect to a lot of people, not just because they wanted to be creators, wanted to be YouTubers, but because they liked Sonic with his newest video. And the audience is not limited to people who like Sonic, just as Micah's video is not limited to people who like Daggerfall. But I'm using my interests as an instrument to you know, express my creative voice, and I think that's pretty fucking cool, gotta say. Let me see here. Your metaphor about the reward of playing Sonic isn't to go fast immediately, but going fast after you learn how to play Sonic really hit me. Felt like I've been trying to chase going fast all my life. Yeah, I mean that's video editing too. There's almost everything in life is about getting good and then getting fast, right? And then, because like when you're first getting started on YouTube, right, for example, first you got to make good videos. That's goal number one. Then when you get good at your craft, it's like, okay, how can I put out videos consistently and sustainably? You know, and how can I, and becoming a better editor. First, becoming a better editor means making good edits. And then like the thing that sets really Sam apart from me, for example, is that Sam can do in 4 hours what takes me 12, probably, I would say. I can do J cuts, I can do L cuts. He probably does them a little bit tighter than me and with a little bit subjectively better timing than me and things like that. Maybe makes motion graphics that are subjectively just a little bit more pleasing. But really what sets apart an editor like me from Sam is time needed to get results, for example. So that's applicable to a lot of things in life, I think. I'm glad you like the video, eDrizzly. Let's see, 12-week year is something I'm starting to follow in April. Yeah, good luck with that, man. I've heard about that book. There's who's the, I'm sure you know him, Sam. Who's that productivity guy on YouTube right now that's talking about that book in like all of his videos? The guy who talked about like he's made a video recently about like the 11-hour workday or something like that, or like the doing as much work in a month as you can do or doing as much work in a day as you can, as it normally takes you a month. Who's that guy? I've been seeing his stuff recently, and I think some of it's interesting. I'm not big on the productivity grind set type videos these days, but his are he's got some cool ideas in his. I'm glad it resonated with you, Kamani. Thanks for watching. I would never force another human to edit my insane rants. That's how I feel, Ben Clam. I've never been interested in finding an editor. Even if I could afford it, I don't know that I would make somebody edit my videos. Just watch your video today and sub. Definitely encouraged me to get the ball rolling on creating a YouTube channel despite not having a super defined niche. That's okay, Chris. You'll find where you fit and everything. That always comes after creating. Even people who have an idea of what niche they want to hit first always end up pivoting once they kind of find where they fit. So the important thing is that you create and that you voice what you want to voice. Been wanting to make videos and write satire since I was 13. Now I'm 23 and recorded 3 videos. I'm working on 4th. I'm creating a fake return to get my uni. Your video pushed me too, Jerry. I'm fucking thrilled to find out. I'm thrilled. That's cool too, Haya. I mean, that shit. I've been on the 3 to 4 videos a year train for too long. I've been wanting to become more consistent for a long time, but I can't say that I'm dissatisfied with the videos I put out. And you know, I put out a lot of client work, and sometimes that has come first, and you know, I don't regret. I don't really regret anything. My journey has played out exactly as it's needed to, and you know, I'm starting to find my place in everything myself. So Spotify window is on a YouTube page. What? Spotify window. Yeah, this is just my monitor. This isn't supposed to. This isn't exclusively. It was showing Spotify at the beginning of the stream. But because I just have it pulled up on my monitor, but this is just my monitor. Monitor display. My bad. I need to make a new now playing widget, rather. Let's play widget. I need to make a new now playing widget to show off, especially because now I have some of my own music playing in this playlist, which feels good to say. Now that some of my own music is playing in this playlist, I need to make a new now playing widget just so I can show off Knee on the Rocks under artist, you know. Do you have any tips for brainstorming ideas? Carrying around a notepad. This is called a Rocket Book. It's got basically erasable ink, but you can take pictures. It comes with an app, a mobile app, that you essentially will take a picture of the page and it will scan it in as a document for you, like turn it into a PDF for you. So then you can get just a cloth and you can erase the pages and reuse the notebook. So I carry this around everywhere I go. If I'm on a road trip, if I'm at the grocery store and I get an idea for a video, I write that shit down and I come home and I put it in a Google Doc. That's the biggest one. The other one is honestly watching YouTube. I know for a lot of my videos, I've been inspired by like, you know, I talk about how I was inspired by Micah's video, and you know, the Daggerfall videos that he makes. And I was like, I can turn this into something. I can use this style as a you know, a jumping off point for my creative voice, and it paid off. Just went through the lore of the sax guy. That's great. Yeah, Sexy Sax Man is legit. I'm on a 1 video per parsec. Good meme, Adam. Good meme. Let's see. Is there anything you can recommend that I buy if I ever decide to make videos? Ugh, I don't know. It depends on what videos you want to make. If you want to really have yourself at the forefront and... Okay. If I had to pick one thing that I would recommend to every single creator, period, full stop, it's a microphone. Van Clam got it right, actually. It's a microphone, yeah. It's, with the exception of, like, unless you're the rare creator that has absolutely no recorded audio in their videos, which, like, do exist. You know, if you do, like, I don't know, like, silent Minecraft videos set to music, I guess, maybe. You know, time lapses, for example, or something like that. Maybe you don't need a microphone. But for the vast majority of creators that are going to record their voice in some way as part of their content, that a microphone is pretty much getting your audio right is more important than video. I would trade, if I had to pick between this camera and this microphone, even though this camera I probably spent 3 times as much money on to get the audio right, I would or to get the video right, I would probably still pick the microphone. I would go back to streaming and making videos with a webcam with this microphone more than I would switch from this microphone to a shittier one and keeping this camera. That being said, though, you can get great audio even with a fairly cheap microphone. You can get fairly good audio these days. If you're looking to record your voice in any way, get a microphone. The Blue Yeti's fine. It's just overrated. That's the big thing. You can get a Blue Yeti if it's right for you. It's just an overrated microphone. And really, I honestly think it's probably even properly rated now, because now it's everybody says don't get it. Very few people get the Blue Yeti anymore. Yeah, USB mics are mostly fine, and even these days, things like the Beacon mic, I believe, is a USB microphone. Beacon mic comes with XLR quality, honestly. It's very comparable to SM7B and what you're able to achieve with it. And it comes with software that you can add EQ, compression, things like that. And if you're not an absolute audiophile like me, the problem with me is I come from a music background, for me, I'm very much, I can hear, not to brag, not kind of humble brag, but weird flex. I can hear the little details of stuff, whether I want to or not. And I'm still all the time tweaking I still have yet to find the perfect. I've had a Go XLR now for 5 years. 2019, I think, is when I bought my Go XLR. And I've had the SM7B now for like 2 or 3. And I still have not quite dialed in the settings perfectly yet. I'm still always kind of tweaking them and making them a little bit better. I often will still, even with the Go XLR, I'll still often record raw microphone input for a project and then tweak it in post with my more powerful tools, just because I'm like really anal about that shit. But honestly, if you're not like me and you're not just totally fucking out of your mind when it comes to audio quality, you can get very, very, very high quality audio for relatively inexpensive these days. Blue Ember's good, but you do need an interface for it because it's not a USB. I used the Blue Ember for a long time, and honestly, I go back and listen to my voice coming through the Blue Ember, and it's quite good. I still quite liked how that microphone sounded. I also like I like all the Blue microphones, honestly. Blue is actually a solid microphone company, but all of their microphones are condenser microphones. And as a general rule, when I'm recommending microphones to people, I like to recommend dynamic microphones. So Do you think the downfall of TikTok will affect creator creativity? I don't know when the downfall of TikTok is going to be. I'm still not convinced that this whole TikTok ban is going to go into effect. If it does, a lot of TikTok creators are going to migrate probably to YouTube and Instagram Reels, or something else is going to crop up in TikTok's place. Because I don't think TikTok is like Vine. You know, when Vine disappeared, nothing could really take Vine's place. And, you know, nothing is ever going to truly take TikTok's place, so to speak, but there will be a new, there will be a hole that TikTok makes, and something is going to try and fill that hole, one way or another. And that, how it's going to affect creator creativity, I don't know. I don't know that it will. I think that it's going to affect the way that people make content. It's going to affect the content people make. How it's going to be, we're going to have to see, you know. I don't know who can say, truly. Short form's not going anywhere. People are still going to make short form content in some fashion. YouTube is going to remain the prevalent place for long form content. I bet Instagram Reels will probably be a more popular place for short form than YouTube. Just based on I feel like TikTok trends translate to Instagram Reels more than they do YouTube Shorts, but who's to say? It depends on how much. If TikTok goes down, I think YouTube will probably go, and Instagram probably will go full force in promoting Shorts. I bet if TikTok were to go down, YouTube would make a Shorts app, like separate from YouTube, like separate from the main YouTube app, where you just get Shorts. If I had a guess. And that would be like, they would like really double down on Shorts. And I bet Instagram would do the exact same thing. I bet Reels would become its own app at Meta. In fact, it might even go that route where it's like Facebook is a thing, Instagram is a thing, Reels are its own thing. If TikTok were to go down. So that was that was a much more thought-provoking question than I thought it was going to be. Thank you for that one. Let's see. Downfall of Joe Rogan. I don't think Joe Rogan's going anywhere. Arguably, unfortunately. Vines was the bestest. Vines were great. Vine kind of played its Vine lived a full life. I think it's telling that nothing kind of replaced Vine. Like I don't think, I think, you know, the 7 second video, or the 6 second video, however much it was, it was an art form for a little while, but it was its own, it was in a way, it was its own fad. I don't know that it would have continued to have the staying power that it had over time. It was really kind of just its own little niche format for a while. That's true, Fanjecture, but you know, I honestly don't know that Discord needs to be innovated on. Like, they do in a capitalist sense. Like, the company needs to continue innovating or else it dies, because that's just the way of the world. But at the same time, I think Discord is fine the way that it is. It's like doing great. You know, TeamSpeak is kind of the same way. TeamSpeak kind of when Discord came out and it was just kind of straight up better than TeamSpeak. It kind of replaced TeamSpeak, but TeamSpeak is still around because TeamSpeak does one thing and it does it well, and it doesn't need to change what it does because it's not really focused on like just fucking never-ending growth. And that's the problem with Discord, is that they're like, okay, what's next for Discord? And they're like kind of floundering and figuring out what that is, because to a certain extent, they already do what they do better than anybody else. So where do you go from there? And like, I think you should just continue doing what you're doing better than anybody else. But yeah, there is probably still room for quality of life improvements, but you know, that's not going to be their focus, because that's not what's going to bring in, you know, investor dollars or get people excited. I heard shorts are not that monetizable, so do you think they'd commit that much? I guess for the data and the retention. Yeah, it's more about the data and the retention. Yeah, for sure. It's more about getting people on, you know, YouTube shorts aren't that monetizable. But having people on your shorts is much more monetizable than from YouTube's standpoint, having people on our shorts is much more monetizable than having people on Instagram shorts or on TikTok's shorts, right? So even though shorts aren't that monetizable, it's more about getting eyeballs on it, and then they'll figure out the monetization problem with it later. Enjoying your sudden position as creator guru? I'm no creator guru. I'm just answering questions people have. Like, I'm just giving my opinion, man. I'm just living my best life out here. I'm just trying to put out in the world what I want to see. But the answer is yes. I'm 1,000% enjoying it. Why did Vine die? Yeah, it was unprofitable. I don't remember if it got bought out or why it shut down necessarily directly, but it was basically just like, you know, it was not making any money. And I think they were bought out, and then whoever bought them out shut them down. I don't remember who it was. I think they got bought out by Twitter. Maybe Twitter shut them down. I don't remember. Something like that. You know, it's been a low-key guru for years. I came to know because of GoXLR help. I made that video like in 2019. And it was for a very long time one of the best performing videos on my channel. And that was the first video I ever made that got more than 1,000 views. Was like a GoXLR unboxing and tutorial. But man, YouTube itself ran at a loss, but was crucial to Google's way to keep out competition. So I'm sure they loved to weaken TikTok and Instagram even at a loss. I agree. I agree, homie. Thank you, Matthias. Thanks for the feedback and for watching the video and for stopping in today. Appreciate it. Content creator, I'm afraid of becoming a deepfake or AI fodder. I mean, that's a valid concern. At the same time, though, I think I'm pretty confident we're entering a time where people are starting to crack down on that shit, and it's starting to hurt the big guys' wallets, and so they're starting to crack down on it. YouTube recently actually, now there's a thing whenever you upload a YouTube video, you have to mark, mark on your end whether or not the video contains any AI generated voices or AI generated faces. And you can potentially get in trouble. For example, if you make an AI generated, there's ones of like the president's voice, and they'll do ones like it'll be Biden, Trump, and Obama playing fucking Mario Kart or whatever. Now, if you make those videos, you have to mark it as like you have to check a box that says yes, this includes an AI impersonation of a real human being. And if you don't, you can get in trouble. So I'm glad that they're starting to roll that out. You see that new Sonic Fall Guys looking game? It seems like a big waste of Sega dollars to me. I have not, actually. I have actually no idea what you're talking about. But, She also did creator contests and morale boosts. Those creator contests were fun. I used to do a lot of stuff with the community, and unfortunately, I don't have the motivation for that stuff as much anymore. But maybe sometime soon. I'm enjoying connecting with the community. But at the end of the day, nothing makes me happier when it comes to connecting with the community than really just having these conversations and doing cool stuff with you guys. So. Isn't the EU cracking down on AI stuff? I bet. I actually don't know. I'm not like on the. I'm not keeping up to date with AI. Just because. Gotta unplug from that shit every once in a while. It's exhausting. Excuse me, but as far as I know, yes, they are. Lawmakers and big companies are starting to finally fucking wake up and be like, yeah, maybe we should figure this shit out. Which I knew was just a matter of time. I feel super validated. I actually wrote a paper, and it was written as a faux podcast, as like a final project in like my English class, in freshman English in college. So that would have been 2016, I think I wrote that paper, and it was about AI. It was about how AI was like what the future of AI looked at like, and all of my predictions are coming true. I was basically like, AI is going to all my predictions are coming true a little bit in the wrong order. I essentially was like, AI is going to automate the stuff that's easy to automate first, and then eventually it's going to try and fail to get into creative, like content generation. And instead it got into content generation way quicker than I thought it was going to. But it like, it popped off. It's starting to pop off, and pretty much everything I predicted about it is coming true. Because I was like, yeah, there's no way you can really like, AI is never really going to replace comedians. AI is never going to replace YouTubers. It's really never going to replace musicians. It's going to be scary, and it's going to definitely take a lot of jobs out of those industries. But at the end of the day, there's going to be there's just not enough intention behind a machine to create something that is going to resonate with people. There's just not. I've read like one joke ever that ChatGPT wrote. That was the first thing I did when ChatGPT came out. I was like, write 10 jokes in the style of Deadpool, like that Deadpool would say. Back when it like very first came out, and I didn't really understand it yet. And it gave me like some jokes that included bad words and some jokes that included swords and guns and shit. And there was like maybe one that was like somewhat funny. And now that I know how ChatGPT works, it was probably a joke written by somebody else. So like, you know, ChatGPT is not gonna replace comedians anytime soon. It's writing scripts for YouTube videos, and it's, you know, people are taking those videos and they're having a text-to-speech read it, and they're putting it over stock footage, and they're making money off of that. But those videos are not having the same, people aren't coming into chats with an AI voice and coming into YouTube chats and having chats like that. They're just not. Because those videos don't resonate with people in that way. And they're not going to. I have zero fear that stuff is going to be anything to worry about for a really long time. Do you think it's too late to bring a channel back after not uploading for 3 months? Well, let's see. My channel had... Let me see about that content. I had not uploaded a proper video since October. Between October and March, I basically didn't upload a video. And then this video has now become, oh guys, I think actually, oh never mind, it's at 89,000. This video is now short, 2,000 views short of becoming my most successful video I've ever uploaded. So 4 months, right? November, December, January, February, and then kind of beginning of March. Yeah, so like 4.5 months between uploads, and this upload got, you know, 90,000 views so far. So like, no, I don't think that taking time off of YouTube is anything to worry about as far as like what your videos are going to perform, how your videos are going to perform when you come back. What equipment is needed to record audio and video well? A decent microphone and a decent camera. I really don't know how to answer that question beyond that. Yeah. If you've got the money, get an actual camera, not just a webcam. And if you've got the money, get, you know, a dynamic microphone instead of a condenser. But honestly, like, it doesn't take much. Doesn't take much. Decent computer to record. It's more accessible than ever to make videos these days. Back in my day, 10 years ago, you needed to buy fraps. or you needed to buy some other fucking less known. I had Action by Marillis, which was a screen recorder back in the day, and I'm pretty sure I pirated that. That's how I would record videos. And it was shitty fucking software, and you know, you needed to pay for Adobe Premiere or Sony Vegas, and you'd buy a license for one version. If it updated, you had to buy another license. Fuck that. And then Adobe Premiere turns to a subscription model. Fuck that. And these days, you've got OBS free. You've got DaVinci Resolve free. They're literally the best in the industry for recording and editing, respectively, arguably. There are people who will still tell you that, you know, Resolve isn't quite up to Premiere or Final Cut standards, but, you know, it's up there. It's comparable, and it's free. You know, graphics cards that you buy for gaming, any decent graphics card now is going to have a dedicated encoder chip in it that's going to make it very easy to record. So it's incredibly accessible to become a content creator these days, and record stuff these days, and edit stuff these days, compared to how it was just 10 years ago. So there's never, from that perspective, there really has never been a better time to be a creator. Microphones are cheaper than ever. Decent mics, I mean. Microphones have stayed the same price for a really long time, but due to inflation, that means they actually cost less. So an SM7B cost $400 a few years ago, and I think they released an updated version of the SM7B so that they could up the price. I think it's $450 now, but you can still probably find a regular SM7B for $400, $350, somewhere in there. And because of inflation, that means it's actually technically cheaper than it used to be. Is Audacity still used by anyone still? I think I have a few friends who still use Audacity. It's fine. I think there's better DAWs now, or better. I think you can use free DAWs and do everything that you can in Audacity, probably easier. So I would say, probably if you're getting started, probably use Reaper instead of Audacity. But I know people who have, you know, been using Audacity for a long time and still use Audacity, and that's pretty cool, you know. We're gonna be left behind by augmented reality, Apple Vision Pro, new platform. Nah. Augmented reality, VR, all that stuff. It's still niche, and it's not gonna leave us behind anytime soon. And when it stops being niche, we're not gonna be left behind because everything is gonna move to that platform. Really, it's not gonna be like TV, you know, video killed the radio star type shit where suddenly YouTube's gonna die and there's gonna be no way for us to like make content that's cool and video content. There's gonna be a new form of it. It's gonna slowly adapt as the technology adapts, you know. So okay, thank you. I was thinking about giving up because I felt like I ruined it, but this gives me hope. Yeah, Zeno, your channel's never dead. Your channel is never dead. You could literally, like, you could get up to 100,000 subscribers making cooking videos, and then you could literally never make a cooking video again. You just start making gaming videos, and yeah, your views are gonna tank, and you're not gonna, you know, for the first, you know, 5 or 10 videos, your cooking people are gonna be like, what the fuck? And you're gonna be like, sorry guys, this is a gaming channel now, and like maybe 50, you'll drop down to 50,000 subscribers. It's gonna probably tank your mental health. It's gonna suck. But then you just make gaming videos, and then people will either appreciate your gaming videos or they won't. You know, it's really not about whether a channel is dead anymore. Like the channel can't really die. You can only stop posting you can just stop posting content. Channel only dies when there's no more content being posted to it, right? So, thanks, Julio. Thanks for stopping in and saying hi. Have a good one. You know, had a hard time making his first video. Hayao Miyazaki. That's great, Man Clam. That's great. I love the video of him with AI stuff. He had some guys. They're like, "Hey, we made this thing with AI of this, like, you know, animation," and Miyazaki's like, "This is an abomination. This is a sin against mankind itself. I wish you hadn't made it." And his employees are like, Okay, boss. Love that video. Oh, shit. I've really enjoyed connecting with you guys today. This has been a really fun stream. Stream's not over, but I just wanted to say that. Are you a sun guy, a rain guy, or a snow guy? That's a great question. I'm a snow guy like 10 days out of the year. I'm a rain guy like maybe a month out of the year. Total, maybe 30 days out of the year. The rest of the time, I'm a sun guy. I'm a sun guy, except for when there's been too much sun and there's been no rain for a really long time. Then I'm like, yeah, we probably need some rain. Heavy rain or light drizzle? Ooh, heavy rain if I'm indoors. Light rain if I'm not. Light drizzle if I'm outdoors. Pretty easy answer with that one when I think about it. My song, that one was by Ryan King. He's a musician over at Senpai Records. He's a cool guy. Thanks to your video, I just released a game devlog. That's awesome. That's awesome, Meg. I'm glad to hear it. Congrats. What's the sub count at now? I wasn't paying attention earlier. Jesus Christ. So fucking last night I crossed 4,000 subscribers. And we're 12 away from 5,500. That's fucking insane. I've gained 2,300 subscribers in the last 28 days. God damn. Literally have doubled my subscriber count off of one video. That's insane. Thank you guys so much. Tune, if you've got a calling, follow the calling. If you've got a calling to create, if you've got something to say that needs to be said and needs to be heard, you fucking go out and say it, man. I believe in you. Any thoughts on how Kruby's gonna fare? I really hope that there's a guy, I forget his name, but I saw on Twitter that there's kind of a former Kruby kind of lead that ended up leaving the project for some reason, that put together kind of his own studio with some of like the ex-Kruby people a while ago. And I've heard really great things about him, and a lot of people with Kruby have expressed being pleased with the idea of being picked up by them. If that person has been like, yeah, I will buy the IP if it's possible. So that would be cool, I guess. As long as Kruby's happy and they have creative freedom, that's where I want them to be. My fear is that Warner Brothers is going to sell the Ruby property to whoever has the most money and the least care for the franchise and the least care for the IP. Which, I mean, right now is Warner Brothers. So I guess it can't really get much worse than Warner Brothers. So I'm actually kind of optimistic about Ruby in that way. As long as they're able to get the rights transferred over to somebody and the crew is able to mostly stay on and they don't fucking just completely change who's working on the show. Ooh, original Code Red Voltage rank 'em. Code Red number 1, Voltage number 2, original number 3. Absolutely. Easy. Easiest question I've ever been asked in my entire fucking life. My favorite thing. So when I was in college, I was a little bit of a bartender, or I considered myself one. And I loved coming up with fun mixed drinks. And one of my favorite things I ever did is I came up with D&D inspired drinks. And so I had a Mountain Dew liquor combination for every color of dragon from D&D. So in D&D, you have the chromatic dragons, which are red dragons, black dragons, white dragons, green dragons, and blue dragons, that each have like a different breath weapon, is what they're called. Basically, the white dragons breathe ice, red dragons breathe fire, black dragons breathe acid, blue dragons breathe lightning, and green dragons breathe poison. Kind of, they're kind of weird. It's like a poison gas, kind of acidic gas, but black dragons actually spit acid. It's weird, but I came up with I took the different Mountain Dew flavors and I came up with different dragon-inspired drinks for them. I had Code Red with Fireball. I called it the Red Dragon. Voltage with Malibu, I think, because blue dragons were mostly found in deserts. So I thought, Malibu, I guess, sort of beachy vibes. That was the most fun I ever had with Mountain Dew. Was coming up with those drinks. Whiteout with vanilla vodka. That was a white dragon. Called that a white dragon. I don't know that I ever came up with one for green dragon and black dragon though. I don't know that we had. I don't know that Mountain Dew blackout was a thing back then. Yeah, I didn't know that Shane Newville was associated with them, and that does worry me too, Haya. But if Kruby's on board to work with him again, and he's on board to work with them again, and he's maybe not gonna push that crap anymore, then that would be cool. Because it sounds like the other people are on board, so that's what they think is best for the show. Have you ever answered the call to create, and felt like your creation should have burned in hell and never be attempted again, but for some stupid reason you still want to try again? Maybe. Yes, maybe. So I've definitely so I know, for example, I've done the same music video 3 times. I once I recorded a cover of the song Time by Pink Floyd. And then a few years later, I did it again because my first cover really was ass. And then a few years later, I did it again because that cover was ass. And in probably a few years, I will think the cover that's currently up on my channel is ass, and I'll probably re-record it a 4th time. But other than that, no, I don't think I've ever wanted my creation to burn in hell. I don't think I've ever felt that strongly negatively about it. But, is overpopularity an irrational fear? Yes. I do not think we are at risk of overpopulating the earth anytime soon. There is something to be said about overpopulation in terms of the fact that we are consuming far more than we are creating globally, as far as like energy wise, and like the sustainability of climate change and things like that. But that's not the issue with climate change is not overpopulation. The issue with climate change is consumer capitalism. So like there are solutions to climate change that don't involve fucking solving overpopulation. And I also don't think underpopulation and like the sustainable repopulation of the earth is at any risk right now at all either, despite what Elon Musk would make you think. Oh, I guess overpopularity isn't being too popular. I guess that's as in being too popular. Okay, well, everything I said still applies, I guess. That's a far more relevant question, though. Is it an irrational fear? I don't know that it's an irrational fear. But is it a relevant fear always? Not necessarily, you know. I would say it's not necessarily irrational, but it's also something you don't have to worry about until, you know, you are an appropriate level of popular. But it's good to stay self-aware of, you know, your impact on people and your influence as a creator, and your influence as through your creative voice. It's a good idea to keep a solid handle on that and keep your ego in check and kind of just check in with yourself and be self-aware of where you are in that. But I don't know that you necessarily need to worry about becoming overly popular. Now, something you do have to worry about is things like people, you know, parasocial relationships, people wanting to get involved with your real life. I'm totally not about that. Please, if you're watching this right now, please do not try to contact me. Please do not try to find out where I live. Please do not fucking think that we are real life friends. Just because I made a cool video one time. I would like to keep my internet life and my real life separate as much as possible for the most part. You know, maybe at a convention sometime I might do like a meetup or something like that. If I ever have people that would be there that would be interested in something like that. I always think that would be cool. I'd love to meet people in person in a controlled environment, but you know, there is always the fear of like, you know, people building those parasocial relationships and then, you know, wanting to find out where you live and shit. That's actually a fairly reasonable and rational fear in this day and age, and it's something that I kind of think about and keep myself in check about sometimes. New best friend. I have made great friends over the internet. And some of them have been through, you know, them discovering me through YouTube or through my viewership. And I've made friends with YouTubers from being a viewer first. But the important thing is that I actually interacted with them outside of just their chats, right? Their Twitch chat or their YouTube chat or their comment section, right? And they elected to spend their time with me too. That's the big one. ContraPoints talked about how it's basically impossible for her to use Tinder because people call her Contra in app, or else pretend not to know who she is so they can meet her. Bro, if I was ever on a dating app and somebody called me Meat, I would disengage. I would shut down. I would cease to exist. That's insane. I've been having issues with this with my microphone cable. I need to replace my like Amazon Basics fucking ass XLR cable. I do apologize for the buzz when I speak. It's strange to me too with a guy, but part of it is the loneliness epidemic that we have, and people getting you know, just a little bit to the point where they're so desperate for connection that they create connection where there is none. And you know, I can't really blame them for that. There are people who are like, man, this person says stuff that really resonates with me and really has just in a spiritual way guided me through a really tough time. And that connection that they feel is real in a certain way. It's just that it's one way, you know, it only goes the one direction. And the other person doesn't know you exist. And it becomes, and when that is on the forefront of the mind and it starts creating delusion, you know, it doesn't come out of nowhere. It's a process that takes a long time and a lot of reinforcement from their circumstances. But it's possible, and it happens. It's scary. And I feel bad for the people who that happens to, and I feel bad for the people that they, invade the privacy of. It sucks. When is cancellation a needful concern? Cancellation's a needful concern when you believe something that is worth canceling. You over, I guess. If you cancellation's a needful concern whenever you are transphobic and want to speak up about your transphobia on the internet. And that's about it. Really. That's pretty much the only time that's pretty much the only time it's cause for concern. There's a lot of great videos about how there's one that's cancel culture basically doesn't exist is the name of the video. It's cancel culture doesn't exist. And while it's more nuanced than that, there's really just you're really not at risk. You're really not at risk of being deplatformed unless you really, really go out of your way to say some really insightful and hateful shit. And so if you just aren't that way, then you're probably chilling. Because you can actually say fucking some really outrageous shit and some really harmful shit, and you can believe some really harmful and terrible things and still maintain an audience just fine. You'll lose some people anytime you say basically anything controversial. I said I didn't like Jordan Peterson anymore, and there were people in the comments of the video that were like, I was all good until you mentioned Jordan Peterson, blah 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 blah. And now I'm writing you off, and it's what are they gonna do? Cancel me? What is that person gonna be like? This guy doesn't like Jordan Peterson. Don't watch him. That it's not gonna really affect the view count. Do I really care that person isn't gonna watch my video anyway? It's well, if they're not open, if their mind is not open to my ideas, why am I worried about whether or not they watch my video? Not a big deal. So, food for thought. Even children make imaginary friends to have someone to connect to, but an adult just turns into a bot, I guess. Sometimes, Dana J. That's actually a fairly insightful way to put it, I think. That's me. I still love your videos. It's not that serious, TBH. Thank you, Isaiah. I'm actually quite cool with people having fairly dissenting opinions and still being part of the community. Because I think I've got good reason to believe what I believe, and I think other people have good reason to believe what they believe, generally speaking. Most people do. And while I generally think my ideas are the good ones and the right ones, everybody does. I think that as long as people aren't making other people uncomfortable and making, and spreading hate within my chat and my community, that if they come to, my platform and come to listen to me speak and they're open to my ideas, then, I'm not going to bar them from it just because they don't necessarily believe my ideas already, I'm putting a lot of what I put out there to try and change people's minds and open people's minds to stuff. So why would I toss somebody out because they believe something that I don't believe, necessarily. You can't please everyone and you should not try. Well said, Bangclam. Well said. Trying to please everyone pleases no one. Very consistently. I've seen it time and time and time again. You ever heard of aphantasia? Yes, I have. It blows my mind to think about. I seriously don't know how I would function as a creator if I had aphantasia. Editing right now while watching this. That's pretty impressive, Blesh, because I don't know how. I can't watch something and edit at the same time, me personally, but I'm impressed. I am totally cool with being the background noise while you guys be productive. That brings me joy. Have you ever heard of Fantasia? It's got a mouse and a wizard hat. Yeah, that's great too. Have you guys played Fantasia for Sega Genesis? One of the worst games I've ever owned. That game sucks fucking nuts, man. That game sucks booty. Fantasia for Genesis. It's balls. But I played an ungodly amount of it when I was a kid. Now, World of Illusion, yeah. World of Illusion and Castle of Illusion are actually pretty great. I actually finished Castle of Illusion for the first time. I've played it for years, but I finished it for the first time, finally, a couple years ago. It was great. And honestly, the remake, kind of ass. The remake of Castle of Illusion is not that great. It's very much a kid's game and not made for fans of the original game. I'm like, meh. This is just not that engaging. But the original game still holds up. Maybe I should make a video on all the Disney Genesis games. Talk about how fucking awful Fantasia is. Ugh. What's the hardest Genesis game I've ever played? Ghouls and Ghosts, for sure. Yeah, Super Ghouls and Ghosts for Genesis. That came on, I've got a Sega Genesis Classic or whatever it's called, like one of the just like the plug and plays. I would, friends would come over and we'd play Dr. Robotnik's Mean Machine, play Sonic 2. And my roommate and I started Super Ghouls and Ghosts, and we used save states, and we were able with save states to get to the end of the game. But that game is famous for you beat the game once, and then it says in order to you get to the end of the game like right before the final boss, and it's like, in order to rescue the princess, you need to get this item and defeat this boss or whatever. Sends you back to the beginning of the game. It sends you back to level 1. And then you have to complete the game again, except this time at the end of the game, the second run, there's the item that you need. And then you get that item and then you fight the final boss. And fucking me and my friend got to the first ending, and then we found out about the second ending, and we were like, we'll do that some other time. We made a save state. We have not touched the game since. We went through too fucking damn much to do that shit again. We have never again touched that game. Maybe someday though. Maybe someday when he visits again. Because now he's moved on to greener pastures. Jekyll and Hyde game type beat. Yeah, fuck that shit, man. Fuck that shit. I believe it was easier on SNES. I'm not quite sure though. It's probably ass on both games. I'm not gonna lie. Just generally games that have like more than one action you can do have better controls on SNES, and better controls usually means for an easier game, but I could be wrong. I made it from game start to beating Crocomire in like 3 hours. In what, Super Metroid? What's the context? Are you trying to speedrun Super Metroid? Is that what's going on? Yeah, okay, cool. Dope. Crocomire is underrated character. Actually, probably properly rated character. People talk about how cool Crocomire is all the time. Oh, you're just playing casually. All right, cool. Super Metroid is on the list of games. That's actually another one of my probably top 10 games, honestly. But it's one of those games I wish I could erase my memory of it and play it for the first time again, because it really does not have the same magic on subsequent playthroughs. Honestly, it has so much like charm and magic the first time you play it, and discovering all of its like little things. But once you've kind of discovered everything, it kind of loses that magic just a little bit. That makes me sad, because it's really fucking cool the first time you play it. I highly recommend, even if you guys aren't really into like Metroid games or like the Metroidvania type games, Super Metroid is a fucking fantastic game. I think everybody should play at least once. Very, very cool. Controls are a little wonky. Aiming up and down is a little weird. But in general, very cool game. Very cool game. A lot of cool detail work. A lot of great. If you like Sonic 3 and Knuckles and the way it tells a story with cutscenes, without short cutscenes that have no dialogue, Super Metroid is a masterclass in the same way that Sonic 3 and Knuckles is in storytelling in that very particular method. What do you think are differences between good and bad difficulty in games? A lot of people draw the line in different aspects. Ooh, good question. I think about game design a lot, so I feel like I could answer this question fairly well. So there's a question to be. So first of all, there's a discussion to be had about difficulty and accessibility, and I think there's an important conversation to be had there. But in the same way that not every sport is accessible purely because of the sport being the sport that it is, not every game is accessible, and not every game needs to be accessible to absolutely everybody. You know, obviously the more accessible, the better. But there is just like, there is a point where after so much accessibility, the game becomes an entirely different experience. And that is a conversation to be had. I'm not disabled in any way that affects the way that I play video games, I would say. So I'm not really the person to speak on that aspect. So taking the accessibility conversation out, I would say that generally what separates good difficulty from bad difficulty is feedback. So good difficulty comes when the player knows exactly what they did wrong and knows exactly what they need to do to achieve different results. So, for example, whenever you basically, it can be summed down to that. Like anytime you die in a video game, you feel like it was your fault and not the game's. That's good difficulty. If you know, there's a puzzle that needs to be solved and you solve the puzzle knowing from from the beginning of the puzzle to the end of the puzzle that you have everything that you need to solve the puzzle, and then you do, that's good design. That's good design. What's bad design is whenever you're trying to attempt a puzzle and there's nothing to indicate that you don't have all the tools you need. So for example, if there were if there's a random puzzle in a Zelda game and there's nothing to indicate that you need the hook shot for the particular puzzle, there's absolutely nothing, and you just keep attempting different things and nothing's working, and you're like, well shit, what do I do here? And then later on you get the hook shot, and then you happen to attempt, you come back to that puzzle, and this time you happen to try the hook shot and it happens to work. You're like, oh shit, well how was I supposed to know the hook shot was the solution to that? I actually can't think of a puzzle where that ever happens, because Zelda generally has pretty good difficulty and pretty good puzzles. Generally when you walk into a Zelda dungeon and you're presented with these puzzles, you generally know which puzzles you can solve and which ones you're gonna need. You're like, I probably need to find the dungeon item, whatever it is for that. Whenever you see a fucking eye on the wall and you don't have the bow yet, you're like, I'm gonna find the bow in this dungeon, and then that's what I'm gonna have to do. Yeah, just generally that's the big thing is whenever you if you're fighting a boss and the boss has a secret that you just have to, like, if you don't know the secret, you're never gonna beat the boss, and there's just like no way that you're ever gonna know what the secret was, then like people are gonna feel like that's bad game design. Plain and simple. So subject for watching the YouTube YouTuber video is really comforting as someone in between passions holding down jobs. I appreciate your insight. Matthias, thank you for stopping in and let me know that. Appreciate that you like the video. Solver Reader was pretty good. I defiantly agree. I believe you're trying to say definitely. Reason I love Dark Souls. Dark Souls does that great. Dark Souls is hard as fuck. People love those games because the feedback you get from those games is very, very, very good. Every time I die in Sekiro, I'm like, damn it. I know I would have succeeded if I had been better at the video game. And then when you do learn and you do execute everything exactly the way you want to execute, and you do everything you need to do, and if you pull it off, it feels so fucking good. Ooh, do you have a good way to mitigate obligation fatigue and create more time for passion projects? That's a great question. I work a lot, but come home and would like to create music, but I'm always just too mentally drained for it. So, the hard answer to that question for me, like the only answer I can think of is less obligations. Taking on less obligation. Are you working a job that's not rewarding? Are you working, accepting invites to go to social functions that you really could probably miss and create what you want to create instead? Are you, taking on extra work at work and then realizing that, oh, hey, I want to also be spending time doing my stuff. I really don't know necessarily of now the other solution. The other way you can do it is you can start if you've got a battery and the battery is running out of energy too much, you can either stop using as much energy, right? You can conserve energy, which is that's one approach, or you can get a bigger battery. So the other thing you can do is you can do things that are going to produce more mental energy for yourself. So getting a better night's rest, getting more sunlight during the day, reducing stress, drinking less caffeine probably. I don't know. I'm not quite a health expert, but just improving your health in meaningful ways, improving your mental health in meaningful ways is going to give you a bigger battery, and that's going to give you a little bit more energy when you get home. So those are the only two ways I can really think of, or those are the only two approaches I can really think of. I should say there's multiple ways to do both of those things, but kids do not help your content creation schedule. Not if you want to be a good parent. That is true. That's true. They will not help your content creation schedule at all. The reason I'm not a dad yet. Instantly hooked and saw that you were live. Draco, I appreciate you stopping in. That is why I decided to go live today. I wanted to people who are, because I noticed that the view count was increasing basically in real time, and I noticed that people were subbing basically like in real time, and I'm like, these people could have somewhere to go. Like, let me give them a little bit of a landing page and bring them into the stream. So say hi and establish a little bit of a connection, because I'm having a really good time talking to people in the comments and such. But anyways, it's about 7:15. We've been streaming now for a good 3 hours. I've really enjoyed talking with you guys, but I am gonna wind down stream here. We'll stick around for a couple of minutes more, maybe answer if you guys let's do it. Put it this way: if you guys got any more questions for me, or anything else you guys want to mention before we head off today, go ahead and post those now, and we'll get through those, and then we'll call it a day. How about that? But speaking of sunlight, summer tends to give me a lot more drive, so I might refresh my brain when the next month or two rolls around. Yeah. That's good. Yeah, it's hard to get enough sunlight during the winter time. I definitely struggle with that as well. When's the next Tapper Club meeting? Great question. So if you guys don't know, I do have a website. How often do you stream? I'm streaming inconsistently right now. Probably a lot more often now that we've got quite the community going here already, and we're kind of starting to foster some new homies to come and hang out. I think I'm going to stream a lot more often, and you know what? I'm probably going to spend more time streaming on YouTube. But if you guys don't know, I do stream on Twitch as well as on YouTube. I'll probably do YouTube streams. I'll probably go to doing at least once a week YouTube streams at some point once I stop. Right now I'm really trying to get ahead of schedule on videos, and I think with this video I'm probably gonna be able to have this next video done probably sometime in the middle of the week here, probably in just next day or two. So I'm gonna probably be officially ahead on videos there, and then from there I can start making more time for things like streaming and stuff like that are a little bit more supplementary. So how often do you stream? More often than I do right now is going to be probably the answer to that question. So hopefully looking at maybe weekly streams here on YouTube, maybe a little bit just sporadically on Twitch. There is a link in the description to my Twitch channel if you guys want to follow. There's also, you can become, if you want to, you guys can visit neonrocks.com. If you're interested in supporting me as a creator and supporting my full-time content creation, you can become a member of the Neat Club. If you want to spend a couple extra bucks and become a member of the Dapper Club, we meet semi-monthly, and we meet in Discord and we chat about content creation. We chat about our creative endeavors. So that'd be a great place to maybe chat with you guys in kind of a call situation, in kind of a more direct situation. So I don't know how sustainable that is as we continue to grow and as we continue to do cool stuff, but right now I think it's a pretty cool idea, and right now I really love doing that. So I want to keep offering that for the time being. So if you guys want to, you can check out neonrocks.com. It's the best way to support the channel and the content. And I believe the next Dapper Club meeting is probably going to be, let me look at my calendar real quick. Probably this weekend, probably Saturday. Probably this Saturday we'll have another Dapper Club meeting. So if you guys want to meet up this Saturday and discuss cool stuff about content creation, be sure to join the Dapper Club. And again, that's neontherocks.com. It's our own website for our own content. So, and it's also in the description if you guys want to check it out. Pringles tier list. Cheddar cheese, sour cream and onion, all the rest. What do you use equipment wise? Mic, camera, software. I use SM7B, my microphone. Go XLR is my interface with that microphone. OBS to record. Panasonic GH5 with a Panasonic Lumix f1.7 25mm lens. Elgato key lights is my lights. What is this called? LifeX beam, my background light. Fucking some generic ass ergonomic mouse as my mouse. That's got a little joystick on it. I use as hotkeys. Logitech gaming mouse that you can't really see because the cord's too short. Logitech gaming mouse for 502 wireless or something like that as my gaming mouse whenever I'm playing games. My keyboard is a Corsair K95 Platinum or something. It's got like 6 keys on the side that I use for editing hotkeys. DT990 Pro headphones. These are like $100. These are actually one of my go-to recommendations as far as equipment goes. It's because these are fucking studio quality headphones, and they're like $100, and they're very comfortable and really great. You do have to get like a little adapter with them. You have to know what like resistance level to get. You want to get the one with not as much resistance, or else you're going to need an interface with them. But they're great headphones. Let's see. Do on-screen chat. Yeah, I'll probably do an on-screen chat. I don't love doing the full on-screen chat as much anymore. It takes up a whole lot of the screen. But I may add like either a little small one, or I may be able to do like little chat highlights that I like to do. But yeah, I may do like an on-screen chat so you guys know how the delay is. But honestly, the delay shouldn't be much of an issue. There's not very much delay. I've got it on like low latency. Excuse me. How old are you, man? I'm 20. Yes, I'm old. I'm in my late 20s. Not me having to do math to figure out how old I am. I'll be turning 27 in a couple weeks. Take care, crazy wizard. Perfect timing that you're live. We're actually rounding out stream, Dapper Dog. But I do appreciate you stopping in. Seen an old Dell keyboard from like 2008. I gotta have my extra hotkeys. That's the one thing I won't go minimal on. I'm very maximalist when it comes to my keyboard. Everybody's got like those 70% keyboards. It's like just tab through fucking control. Like I can't do that. I gotta have my numpad. I gotta have my fucking hotkeys on the left. Programmable fucking my good shit. Anyways, all right, guys. That's been a great stream. Thank you guys for stopping in. We will definitely stream again here pretty soon. Keep an eye out, guys. I've got probably the next video coming here in just probably the next few days. I haven't decided if I'm going to upload it as soon as it's done or if I'm going to kind of wait to upload it kind of over the weekend so that I can kind of stick to my once a week and not really just kind of like push myself too hard to get ahead. Because it may be more worthwhile to post, like once a week rather than like do like, wait 3 days and then, another like a week and a half the next week, stuff like that. So it just depends. I may wait till Friday. It'd be cool if I could get upload day to be Friday, and consistently have it be Friday because it seems like videos do best over the weekends. So having like videos go live like early Friday and giving them a good chance to like kind of spread their wings over the weekend seems like a good deal. So I'm going to shoot for Friday, maybe earlier. We'll see, maybe Thursday. But we're going to get the next video out in a couple days and I hope you guys enjoy it. And then, we'll have another stream maybe here in a week or so. So I appreciate everybody stopping in. I appreciate, the new subscribers and new people coming in. And I appreciate everybody who, chatted and a couple people kind of put in super chats and cool stuff like that. And I really appreciate it. And this was really cool. I hope to do more streams with you guys here in the near future. I was gonna maybe play. I installed Sonic 1 Forever because a lot of people were complaining about the fact that I was playing Origins. But I was thinking about playing it today on stream. But chat was popping off so hard that I never really saw the need. We were just hanging out and chatting. So that was more fun than any game. So I appreciate you guys stopping in and just wanted to chat with me. So thank you guys for coming. I'll see you guys in the next one, right?